smoke, 2. We've got ignition, 1. We've got RIP takeoff. Welcome to another edition of the Self Love Show. We live. Today we're going to unpack, we're going to give a consultation or an audit, so to speak, of our Black organizations. Pretty much for the people. This is for the people. So, Chi-Town, you can cue the show when you're ready. Please like, share, subscribe.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, y'all. Please like, share, subscribe. Stop the violence. Life is precious.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show.
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children, ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Love Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
If I slapped you tonight, you're not going home and tell your wife and kids that I slapped you, because you have to be a man at home. I had no father. My mother had to be a mother at home. You never come and tell your kids about people that's misusing you. You have such a mental thing going about people that have called you nigger, that the first time someone do something good to you, then you tend to come home and talk about the good white folks. But every Negro, the only thing he'd ever heard was about the good white folks. So I can't guarantee the world that my kids won't have hate, because a Negro gets hit in the civil rights movement, and my kids see this on television. I had a very interesting thing happen to me with my second daughter when she was 3. I said, Lynn, if you do that again, Daddy's gonna spank your rump. And she literally shook her finger in my face and foamed at the mouth and said, before you hit me, you hit that Mississippi sheriff that hit Mommy in the stomach when she was pregnant, because you're supposed to be nonviolent. And this is why this problem could go for so long, because my parents hid it from me.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else, because it's coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Self love, music.
Oh, it's the Self Love Show. It's
Vision.
the Self Love Show. Keep exposing no evil. It's the Self Love Show. It's the Self Love Show. It's the Self Love Show.
Welcome to another edition of the Self Love Show. Now, this ain't that network, as we say. T-A to the N. T-A-T-N. This ain't that network. This one of the co-hosts, and I am Millie. First off, all praise to the ancestors, the Most High, and my beloved Mama Sky.
It's the Self Love Show.
What does a consulting firm do? They provide expert advice, analysis, and recommendations on various aspects of a company's operations, such as strategy, performance, efficiency, quality, risk, and more. Today's edition, we're going to go ahead and be unpacking what a B1 consulting firm may say to our culture. These are always lessons, not lectures. We live and live in color. Today is Sunday, July 16th, 2023 at about 2:18 p.m. in the Chi. And as always, you cats can be anywhere in this magnanimous universe, but thankfully, we all chose to be here together. Here. Together. It's the Self Love Show. What down, brother Wordsmith? What down? What you manifested today?
Love, man. You know me. I'm manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Ditto, good brother. Pure, magnificent, unfiltered, unfettered. Some have said hard. Many have said tough. But it's love just the same, let me assure you.
No doubt. No doubt.
Hey man, so what's been going on in your neck of the Chi? Is the music coming through, by the way?
Little bit. When you're talking, it is, but it's doing that duck thing again. Ooh, my glasses. Crooked. Yeah. We had a bit of tragedy. My lady's son passed away on Sunday in a motorcycle accident. And just like everybody, send prayers to the family and close relatives and friends. Robert Cameron McKenzie.
Man, R.I.P. brother, ancestor. Condolences to the family, bro. Was there any GoFundMe or anything?
Not that I know of GoFundMe, but they were his girlfriend collected some money. I'm not sure. I'll put that into if that is the case where they're still collecting money or what have you. I'll put it in the chat.
Did he have any shorties, bro?
He did not.
Wow.
He did
Yeah,
not.
R.I.P. man. And condolences.
Yeah, it's been a hard week.
Yeah, I can only imagine, man. That's why we say stop the violence. Life is precious. You know, it takes a lot to create a life in only a second for some lifeless individual to take a life. But this was an accident, so it's not that situation.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, we definitely need to start valuing Black lives.
Absolutely. Our melanated people, we are important.
Facts. So, what to expect on today's show? As always, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day, and then our More Growth and Development platform video, More Growth and Development. We're talking unity, not disunity. Then, of course, we have our Tattoo Tyranny segment, and then our dome teaser. That's a riddle because your mind is a terrible thing to waste. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. Our topic, melanated freedom fighting. This is an audit and consultation. And then we wrap it up with my personal favorite part of the whole shebang. And that's where this brother to my right, he summarizes everything in a bit of metaphysical prose. It's off the rip, off the top of his dome. You know, it's just week to week, it's just mind blowing what he's able to bring to the tables. So definitely stick around for that. So announcements, bro. You got any announcements?
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell, share it far and wide. I guess in a couple weeks, 29th, I think it is, the Chicago Alumni Greater Beta picnic.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be behind the museum. Gamma Upsilon had their picnic yesterday, and it was outstanding. The turnout was beautiful. The energy there was, and the vibe was amazing.
Yeah, it was good seeing all those young brothers doing the work too. Younger brothers.
Facts.
Right? I mean, man, I didn't see anybody who appeared to be over 30 putting in that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't see it.
Yeah, me either. I was out there, the old heads was chilling, doing what old heads do.
And yeah, and speaking of Greater Beta, to my hard ass Deuce anchor, Kier Honore, is his birthday today, bro. So
oh man,
yeah, I want to give him a
born day, Noop. Yeah.
I
haven't seen that brother in a minute.
Yeah, you got to ride down on him, man.
Yeah,
he ain't too far from you, you know.
No, he ain't.
All right, and then as this brother said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, please. Let's get this messaging out here. We're M1, that's melanated first.
Facts.
You know, so yeah. All right. So today's topic, y'all know what it is. If there's anybody out there that you know, maybe you're a member. We're not talking about that type of member. But, you know, maybe you're a member of Black Lives Matter or you know, NAACP, the new modern Black Panther Party, etc. We definitely want to hear from you. And Self Love is typed in the chat. This is interactive. So it's an experience designed to be lessons, not lectures. So the more of you participate, we can get this data out here and rebuild our nation.
Facts.
Yeah, but enough of my yapping. Turn it over to this brother so he can handle his business.
Welcome. This is the Self Love Show. Excuse me. Goodness. Second week in a row. Freedom Fridays Audit and Consultation. Lines are open. Y'all know how we do. It's a Self Love Show. So always we have a very important video, the Silverback More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self Love Nation off of. Before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. Freedom and justice cannot be parceled out in pieces to suit political convenience. I don't believe you can stand for freedom for one group of people and deny it to others. Once again, freedom and justice cannot be parceled out in pieces to suit political convenience. I don't believe you can stand for freedom for one group of people and deny it to others. Coretta Scott King.
Interesting.
That was a powerful statement. Oh, what was that? Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. Number 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, to provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
We're closing it gap. All right.
And number 10, protect our women, children, and men by any and all means necessary.
Absolutely. 10 could be 1.
Facts.
Yeah, so if y'all didn't catch it last week, we covered nanotechnology. Good or bad for humanity? Good or bad here?
It was chock full of pertinent and wonderful information. So I advise you, if you want to be enlightened, go ahead and check it out. Check it out. So much information. In fact, I grew a lot from that show. It was lots of information.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As always, man, it's all about more growth and development. You know, I go down these rabbit holes week to week and definitely, you know, becoming a lot more informed. If anybody would miss Mouthpiece included, we're actually covering the history of Jackie Robinson West, Little League Baseball in Chicago, for those who don't know. But they actually have a playoffs. They got a big game today, so he had to show up a little earlier, and then he couldn't get out in time. So we're going to push that tomorrow at 1:00 Central.
Nice.
We're going to discuss politics, and anybody can pull up, you know, and tell some Jackie Robinson stories or what have you. So that's what we on. All right, y'all like, share, subscribe. Big ups to all the chat rats out there. Where you hailing from? We don't need to know your block. State would suffice, you know. I don't need to know who did what. Self. I'll tell you about this idea I got. We'll do it offline though, because I ain't giving up no more free.
Man, because you already know we see it on other channels every time we say something.
Absolutely. So
we don't have that many subscribers, and they come down and just steal ideas, and you know.
That's all right. We're gonna we just wait next time I come to the city. We're gonna do something. All right, so bro, let's jump over to tattoo tyranny. Big ups and fair use, CBS Detroit. This one's 12 will be 12. Self, did you see the viral video? 12 being 12?
You know, I'm pretty unplugged.
You've had a lot going on too this week.
Yeah, oh yeah. We'll see if I've seen it.
Our top story tonight, an ex-warrant police officer is accused of punching a teen. Well, he is now facing federal charges.
Yeah, that officer was shown on camera last month assaulting the 19-year-old before throwing him in a cell, which the U.S. Attorney's Office says is a clear violation of that suspect's civil rights.
Andres Gutierrez has his
violation.
tonight from Fort Street in downtown Detroit.
Wait till you see this.
That former warrant cop Matthew Rodriguez was facing 2 misdemeanor charges in Macomb County for the alleged assault, but the prosecutor is dismissing those charges to allow a civil rights violation case to move forward in federal court.
This case involves a gross abuse of citizen civil rights by a police officer.
The Department of Justice says Matthew Rodriguez used unreasonable and excessive force against 19-year-old Jaquan Smith and decked him in the city jail. Security video shows Rodriguez slamming Smith's head against the ground before throwing him in a cell.
It breaks my heart, and it's completely unacceptable. Actions like that compromise trust in the community, the trust the community has with law enforcement.
According to the criminal complaint, Warren PD policy says officers can only use the minimum amount of force necessary to effect an arrest, overcome resistance, defend themselves or others, or to regain control. The FBI points out Smith didn't attempt to strike or attack Rodriguez in any way. Smith also didn't have any weapons that could be seen as a threat to Rodriguez.
And it should send a clear message that we will not tolerate violence from civilians nor from the police.
2 other officers reported Rodriguez, who was placed on paid leave hours after the incident. Then 2 weeks ago, he was fired. The Macomb County prosecutor charged Rodriguez with assault and battery and willful neglect of duty, which he is moving to dismiss now that Rodriguez faces a federal felony charge.
He will be prosecuted just as anyone else would be prosecuted, but it gives a black eye to all law enforcement, and it gives a black eye to the ones that try to do their best every day to take on the responsibilities and duties that they're charged with under their oath.
The Warren Police Commissioner once again calling Rodriguez's actions a disgrace.
This is not what police officers do. This is not what police officers are. This is not how police officers are trained. And most importantly, this is not how police officers should interact with the community.
If convicted, Rodriguez can face up to 10 years in prison. Reporting in downtown Detroit, Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Detroit.
Wow.
You know, this makes you wonder, like, that station, what area is that, Self? It's on 51st, right off the E-way, but you can't enter or exit the E-way right there, the damn right.
Yeah. I forgot what prison.
Yeah, it's hellacious. Yeah, they brought everybody from the low end there and mixed everybody in there together. But makes you wonder, though, how much stuff over the years since slavery ended, since Juneteenth, without the cameras, how bad stuff could have really been. So these guys are doing this knowing it's being videotaped.
Yeah. And they just figure it's going to get swept under the rug like it's, has been for most of the time since they've been jails. And it's interesting. They got you, though, it was footprints on the floor where he was standing in, and you get hit with anything, you're going down. You don't have any way to balance yourself. Feet so close together. And that's where he stole on him. What is that?
And dude look calm. Like, I don't know what kind of conversation was going on, but see, a lot of times there's other stuff going on too, man.
Facts.
12 probably remember him from the last time he was locked up. I mean, it'd be other stuff going on. Like, these are all human beings and they got emotions. But I find it funny, though. I guess the other 12 is learning, we got to snitch.
Yeah.
I find it funny, though, that coincidental that they're quick to action. We've been saying it on this show when it's some sort of quote unquote minority officer.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they'll throw the book at them
immediately.
everybody comes out with their white shirts on. And this isn't what we're trained to do.
We're not about this life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what we do. We didn't train this guy to do that. Police don't do that.
Correct. But if he was some sort of drop dead gorgeous 6'2", blonde haired, blue eyed pig, they'd be like, they wouldn't have released the video. You know what I mean? It's under investigation. It's hampering our investigation.
They wouldn't have told on him, so it wouldn't have never came out.
Correct. Maybe it would have come out depending on this guy and his family and his ability to get a lawyer and get them to get the video or at least request it. But you're right. It definitely
seeing as how Ben Crump or none of those people were there saying anything, that I think that the police got this out.
Oh yeah, but Crump is coming soon.
Yeah,
boy, you think Crump didn't see that?
When did that happen? I was, little lost on the time.
I'm not so sure. But I can tell you one thing: that brother did nothing wrong. I don't care what he said to that guy.
Facts.
He didn't spit on him. He didn't, flinch like he was going, you know what I'm saying? He didn't do nothing. He just, how do you stand there though and get stolen like that? I've been saying this. I just don't, maybe it has a lot to do with, I'm not saying it has a lot to do with pledging beta, but I don't understand how people just be standing there and just boom.
Awareness is low. Unless he was planning a lawsuit. I don't know. Planning on talking some under the handle, off the handle.
Planning on getting his face bashed into the concrete floor.
Well, at least get stole on. I don't know about the banging of head. I don't think anybody subscribes to that. I don't think anybody be like, I want him to bang my head to the floor. I don't think anybody.
And toss me in a holding tank like I'm a dog.
Man. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm going to say from the standpoint of the bald head cop, you know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
In my opinion, 100% tyranny.
Yes.
Now, I'll throw it this way because the other officers, for whatever their reasons may be, I'd like to look at them. I guarantee you they were pink. The officers who snitched on that man.
Yeah.
And these Browns.
We don't know what's in their heart.
Well, we don't know what's any of their hearts.
We know what's in their hearts. They're racist scum.
Many of these Browns like to lean towards the pink side, and they think they're all in alignment. Hopefully, this will be a lesson to you that they'll snitch on you like you're Pookie and Ray Ray, giving chance. And big ups to them. But I'm saying, so somebody prove me wrong at your leisure. The cops who snitched were not melanated or brown.
I'm going to double down on you what you're saying, because I know in my soul of souls that they are not melanated, because unfortunately might not have told.
It's a fraternity.
Yeah.
It's a fraternity. It's kind of like, well, I'm not a Mason. I don't claim to know much about it, but I'm saying, and if I was, I wouldn't tell anyone. It's a need to know basis. But my point is, you've got your melanated Masons, and then you've got your pink Masons, and I can guarantee you, I can't guarantee it, because this is a lecture. But the pink Masons probably don't see the melanated Masons in the same way they see the brotherhood amongst each other. That's all I'm trying.
Definitely heard that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know
from some Masons. I've definitely heard it from some Masons. So
there you go. See. All right, you guys, like, share, subscribe. We had some tyranny out there. Yeah, that was wild. You should be allowed to, as part of his sentence. Well, I don't know if that little dude, because these thugs be so little these days, lightning hands. Without that pistol. But he should be able to, man, get in the ring with that motherfucker or something, man. But I want him to be handcuffed, just like, even though he wasn't handcuffed, I want him to be handcuffed. And let me just whoop his ass. Because dude was handcuffed by the system.
Hands behind his back.
Yes.
Free kick to the face. I think that could.
I want to do exactly to him in a concrete ring what he did to me. Probably wouldn't be able to throw him like that.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, because that dude was like much bigger than him.
Yeah. But I definitely want to be able to bang his head.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I'd say handcuffed behind his back, on his knees, free kick to the face.
And you can't tell me they not train him that. DuPage police, it was in DuPage County. I can't remember the police it was. Tried to do the same shit to me on some BS. Everything got thrown out. I should have
Didn't say you
resisted arrest.
Resist because you put your hands down to get your head, keep your face from smashing against the car or the ground.
Yeah, he was trying to bust my grill out.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's training them to do that.
Shameless.
Yeah,
they're definitely trained to do that.
Well, no, well, you heard the commissioner with his white wrinkled shirt on. He came out there.
Yeah, that guy out there, he's too old to be involved in police
Man, when
work.
he started policing, he knows what the hell policing is about.
Yeah, they could probably legally lynch people when he started.
All right.
Yeah, boys, get him out of there. Come on. Here's the key. Go ahead. I'm going to turn my back. Son of a...
All right. We got tyranny. All right, let's push on, man. Today's topic is melanated freedom fighting. This is an audit and a consultation, a free audit and consultation from the Self Luv Show to our communities and our community organizations. Please smash that like button. Pink crime, self-love. Pink crime. You know, I've been seeing a lot of it. I tell you what, since the Black Lives Matter movement, they've been showing a lot more of this pink crime than they have been doing in the past.
Oh, they better.
This one's called
New at 5, we're here.
Pink Tree Cereal. Big ups Action News Now and Fair Use. Pink Tree.
New at 5, we're hearing for the first time about how investigators caught and convicted a serial killer who slaughtered 3 and attacked 2 others on a multi-county killing spree. I also spoke with the victim's nephew who shared his family's story.
To have that guy do that to my uncle, a veteran, on Veterans Weekend. Sad.
Frank Seaver's uncle Homer survived the serial killer attack.
Tell me all about your uncle. Tell me a little bit about who he was.
He liked to fish a lot, liked to hunt. He was a retired mechanic for Tama County. He was a shop foreman. And he liked to restore old vehicles, old pickups.
Frank's 88-year-old Aunt Lorene didn't survive.
They'd go out and walk every day, you know, in the morning, 2 miles in the morning, 2 miles at night. And my aunt, she never met a stranger. She'd walk up to you today and just tell you a joke.
On May 23rd, 2020, Ryan Blinston showed up at the Los Molinas couple's home. He'd just finished some tree trimming work for them and then slashed both their throats.
What?
But Homer got away and ran to Frank for help.
Here comes my uncle through my back door, covered from blood from head to toe in his underwear. And I said, what the hell happened to you? You fall down again? Fall down and hurt yourself? Because he was in the early stages of Alzheimer's. And he says, no, a guy in a mask came in and killed your aunt and tried to kill me.
Blinston struck again.
Yes.
His victim, another tree trimming customer, 82-year-old Sandra George of Oroville.
Just did the tree job at her house and he went back an hour later and killed her.
Yeah.
It seemed like it began with the elderly. And from that point on, it went to others.
Mathematics.
Next, Blinston killed his friend, Vicki Klein, and torched her car. Fishermen found Klein's body in the Feather River near Belden on June 21st.
A week earlier, a Butte County Sheriff's SWAT team tracked Blinston to a very remote road in Brush Creek.
Prior to our SWAT team arriving in the middle of the night, Blinston attacked him, right? And he was fighting for his life, right? And he was able to get him out of the RV and hold the door shut. And then Blinston armed himself with an axe, right? And began to try to break through this door.
Blinston's acquaintance, Robert Smith, survived through unbelievable luck.
On any other night, there would have been nobody to help him, and eventually Blinston would have been able to break through that door with that hatchet. But as it turned out, the Butte County Sheriff's SWAT team happened to be moving into the area. It is a miracle. And
You got to have at least a bat in your
I know
trailer,
that word
bro.
gets thrown around a lot.
Something.
But this is a true miracle.
He
The
gonna have
Butte
to hit me
County
with
DA's
that.
team didn't
mean,
have a murder
you living
weapon
in the
or
damn
eyewitnesses
woods.
to the 3 murders.
At least a
so
bat.
getting a
I'm gonna leave it
conviction
at that.
wasn't easy.
Case like this was complicated. It was mostly circumstantial. There's actually some surveillance video that we were able to use for
It's
the trial as
complicated because
well,
he's pink.
just from some private citizens that had some
They're
cameras
trying to
on
let him
that
get
were
away with it.
facing the roads. So that was.
Well, he's got rights.
Smith spoke at the sentencing.
I have to wake up every morning and look in the mirror and see the scar on my neck from the wound inflicted, reminding me of that horrific night.
The judge ordered Blinston to serve 3 life sentences.
The guy would not look at anybody every time I was at court, he would not look at anybody. He'd just sit there and stare at the wall. I don't know how to describe him. No, he has no remorse for anything he did.
Do you feel like we know a motive?
What I have been able to come up with is I've reconciled it in my mind as it was just the thrill of the kill.
He made me realize that evil and monsters actually do exist.
This person is going to be in jail for the rest of their life, and your uncle is not here anymore.
Yeah.
Do you think that he would feel like at this point justice was served?
I don't know. He was a Korean War vet, so maybe not.
Homer Sievers died later in 2020 from other medical issues, but his nephew Frank tells me after losing Lorene, he believes Homer really died of a broken heart. Robert Smith died recently from a drug overdose.
Yeah.
Social pro.
I mean, savage.
That's a beast. That's a beast. That's a what do they call us? Super predator.
Yeah, super predator. Absolutely, demon.
He hunted. Yeah, I do your yard and all this.
Yeah,
and then come kill you.
Preying on the elderly. Someone who defended this nation honorably in Korea.
Does that?
You know what I mean? You got this other guy they just caught with the Gilchrist murders. They tied 3 of them to him, just arrested himself, 6'3", pink dude they've been trying to figure out who allegedly killed over 10 people on Long Island, and
well, I'll give you one guess of what, makeup they were that do stuff like that. One guess, and it should be obvious.
He was pink.
These white people are.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's definitely WB. He was allegedly murking sex workers, and society, certain segment of society don't care about them.
No, that goes uninvestigated for the most part.
Yeah, savage. It was a brother who.
That's the word I was looking for.
It was a brother who took over in that little area, started a task force last year. And they got right to the bottom of it and found out who this guy was. He came out there and was like, this guy's a demon. I was like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Savage. Thug.
Yeah, because none of the pink officers who went up there in the press conference before himself called this dude a savage or a thug or a monster or anything of that nature. It took the Melanie to get up there. Like, this guy's a demon walking amongst us. I'm like, yeah. I want to hear this.
Yeah, because he heard all the things that they said about us. So that's that. That's all. Write a song about it. Want to hear it? Here it go.
Yeah. So when people talk about like Stephen A. Smith did, black on black crime, it exists, and it's dumb, and it's dumb, but it happens. I heard King Yeller, big ups King Yeller. He said he went on a rant. He's a GD, I think.
That's the guy from Shy.
Yeah, he live in Vegas now. I saw one of them cats, man, when I was there for the Summer League. I think it was FYBJ Main or something. He was like 2 rows in front of me. I started to go holler at him, but these folks. But anyway, Yella was talking about stopping the violence. He reposted the video, and apparently he had done this like a year ago, and he just reposted it. But during his rant, man, Self, he was talking about, man, because you know how like we even had Jacob come on our show and say, you know, no white person's ever done nothing to us. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, man, he was talking about the trap, bro. He was talking about, you know, yeah, if you live around all black folks and you're in a segregated city, nobody's going to do anything to you but black folks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
same thing. If you live in a trailer park, it's not any brothers from the projects coming over there doing anything to anybody, breaking into their homes or whatever, axing down their doors.
No.
You know, he went on a rant about stopping the violence, but you know how that goes.
Deaf ears most of the time.
Oh, man.
So much
He was
bloodshed between different groups of people that they don't care about.
They can't even hear
anything. Yeah, about anything but continuing.
I mean, you know, and somebody's got to get into the psychology of it, which is what we're breaking down today. Because just, you know, somebody killed your brother, and now a week later, somebody's talking about stopping the violence. Yeah. Hey, we're gonna stop the violence right after I'm finished getting my get back. That's when we're gonna stop.
It ain't gonna never stop. That's how most of them feel.
Come on, man. Imagine you got stumped out by some rivals on the yard, and then the next day they're talking about, yeah, we need to squash this. Yeah, somebody need their ass whooped first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to pay some retribution.
Man,
if you're really willing to take this retribution on your way out, then
we can talk. Right. But stop the killing, y'all. Stop the killing.
Got to stop the killing.
Yeah.
There's no future if we do that.
Get to the bag, man. You know what I'm saying? If you spend more time focusing on self-improvement and family improvement, you won't have time or the energy to be batting your eyes at the next guy, hating on him because he got a new whip and you riding the CTA. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Most beef is stupid. Most of it.
Man, the stuff they dying over now is just amazing. All right, so today is Melanated Freedom Fighting. This is an audit and consultation. We're providing it for the free. Phone lines are open. They're troll free. 424-900-6945. That number's what?
Troll free.
Once again, if you guys don't start using this number, I'm gonna stop paying for it really soon. So this number 424-900-6945. That number's what?
Absolutely. Positively. Troll free. Because trolls get holes around here.
Absolutely. 9 Mills will be your huckleberry. You know, give me shoot you back. No, but I'll be.
Let's go viral.
Yeah, man. Let's go viral. I'll be your huckleberry. All right, but enough of that. We've had our fun. So you guys know the topic, and so let's push on. There should be a promo short. And then we can go ahead and get on topic, famo. Big ups of production. Go Jackie Robinson West. Let's get it done today.
Social programming, man, is off the chain. And we witnessed it. You know, we got to see it firsthand. You know, I often say that hip hop went from having fun to scholars.
Oh, you can stop this and take it back.
To selling drugs.
I forgot I didn't do a promo for this because we was gonna do crop circles, but then I shifted. Yeah, we'll do that. That one will be next week. So that's my bad, Chi-Town. That's my bad. Jump on it.
All to the good.
All right, y'all. Like, share, subscribe. So we're gonna do self-love part 1. We all can talk the bad, and we'll get there. But let's talk about some good that we've gotten from the Nation of Islam, and we'll do them each by each. The Black Church, the Black Panthers out there, the NAACP, and the Congressional Black Caucus. Black Lives Matter, we're sort of leaving this out. We might touch on it, but that's a show of itself. So we're just breaking down the Nation of Islam, Traditional Black Church, the Black Panthers out there, the NAACP, and the Congressional Black Caucus. So let's start with the Nation of Islam.
Well, they've done a lot, in my opinion, for our people. Well, they've cleaned up some people. Some people go there and get cleaned up.
Or in the jailhouse.
Yeah, all of their vices, their diet, a lot of things. They bring a lot of things along with positive affirmation.
They matriculated Malcolm X, but go ahead.
Yeah. So
definitely positive affirmations. You hear Farrakhan talk about a black man, beautiful black brother. He talk about the black people like I talk about the pink people. Drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Beautiful black brother, king. You know what I'm saying? Farrakhan.
Brought knowledge of self to people.
Knowledge of self.
And
built some salam shops over there on the 9, around the 9. Are those still open? The salam? It was a bakery.
It's still there, but I don't see anybody. It was a restaurant. I don't see anybody eating there or what have you. So I'm not sure what that is.
That's weird. I don't know if that's shame on them or shame on us. I feel like it's shame on us, but go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not. It still says salam and still there, but
here's the issue I got. That area they put it in. Look, bro.
Well,
I mean,
that's where the first the
mosque was
for the newspaper. The first building for the newspaper was right there.
On the Final Call.
Halsted. Final Call was right on there.
Was it?
Halsted. Yeah, it was. They got torn down like when we were at U of I. But yeah,
I've never seen that place. Do they have signs up?
Yeah, the Final Call. No, it's been torn down.
But like you said, if they tore it down before, because remember my girl I was dating at the time lived right on the block. You know what I'm saying? But I was already at U of I, so you saying they tore it down by then?
Well, I think they tore it down while we were at U of I.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it was the first one because it was one also on 77th and Cottage. Okay, so that one was after, and they tore that one down too. But I think it moved from 79th and Halsted to 77th and Cottage.
I like that the nation, to your point about positive affirmations, it's rarely that, if ever, that they'll tear down the black community or a black brother or sister.
Right.
No matter how they move into a certain extent.
Right.
You know what I mean? They keep focused on the op.
They give reasons why someone would not be in their right mind or so-called right mind or doing what they should be doing because of society and the pressures and the education system is just that's something else that they educate.
Yes.
With true.
And they train. I don't know what they're training these soldiers for, but they train. They got Fruit of Islam.
Yes.
Everybody know, don't mess with them. Say what you want, but you rarely see, if ever, see a news article where Fruit of Islam gunned down by BDs or GDs or the
you don't see none of that.
Ever.
And you don't see like Nation of Islam people make doing crimes or
you don't
scams or
you're saying they're able to rehabilitate.
Yes,
in a sense,
clean up people's act, and that's huge. That's huge. That's a huge positive that they do.
So I'm gonna go through a little bit of this, bro. Feel free to hop. I'll tell you when to hop back on. But Nation of Islam, it's an African American movement and organization. It was founded in 1930 by Wallace D. Fard Muhammad. And later, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad took over. It's known for its teachings that combine elements of traditional Islam with Black nationalist ideas. The NOI also promotes racial unity, self-help, and maintains a strict code of discipline amongst its members. So here's what they purport to stand for: economic self-sufficiency. The Nation of Islam has encouraged its members to start their own businesses, farms, schools, and other institutions to create a separate and independent Black economy. So we'll park it right here for a second. I like that.
I love it.
Yeah, I know you like separation. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, they the one that came up with the separate but equal shit. You know what I mean? And they don't live up to it in any way, shape, or form.
Oh.
And I know that if we separate, we could get ourselves together. And it's been proven time and time again over the last few centuries that left alone to our own devices, we outshine them by far. And then they make parks out of our neighborhoods.
An example of that, our all Black regiments in the military outshined everybody. Just to give an example, the pilots, just on and on and on.
Yeah, and Black Wall Street, and then all of the cities and towns that are under lakes and such now. Central Park was a affluent,
thriving
melanated area,
thriving,
the eminent domain. Every major highway has been directed to go through our thriving communities, and eminent domain takes place. And if they can't do that, their jealousy comes out and shows. They say somebody tried to rape somebody or assaulted somebody, and then they killed everybody and run everybody off. Kill as many as they can and run everybody off and steal the land.
It's sort of going on now.
It is gentrification.
Yeah. University of Chicago allegedly, was hiring the guys to create havoc over on the southeast side so they could purchase that property and expand towards the Woodlawn area.
Yeah.
And it happens. If you look at who owns all the abandoned properties in your neighborhood, so it'll be, a small hat 9 times out of 10. Somebody not of our community just sitting there letting it lay fallow. They won't put no money into it.
Vanguard or BlackRock.
Yeah. Yep. And they're okay with it being a trap house, abandoned buildings, dead bodies are being found there. They're okay with it. But as soon as that white person starts walking down the alley, walking her dog at 4 a.m. on the way to Starbucks, they start putting money into those properties.
Yeah. Yep. Didn't we cover where they were letting dilapidated properties?
Yeah.
They let them fall into disrepair, and it's a cycle where they buy the property and don't do anything and get paid for it.
And then they get paid by the government.
Yeah. Yes. And then someone else buys it and does the same thing.
Yeah. I don't know if we covered it, but I know we might have discussed it, but I am definitely aware of that.
Yeah. It was a video. It was a video where they were really discussing that. I'm trying to think which show that was, but
yeah. Now, another aspect of what they believe is race pride. The Nation of Islam has taught its members to take pride in their African heritage, culture, and identity, and to reject the pink supremacist ideology that devalues Black people. I like that.
Yes. Does it say African?
To take pride. Yeah, it does say African.
Okay.
Yeah, it does say African. Black separatism. The Nation of Islam has called for the establishment of a separate nation for Black people within the United States, and I personally love this, or elsewhere. I want it within the United States, arguing that integration with white society is impossible and undesirable. Self-empowerment, self-improvement. We're the Self Love Show.
Yeah.
Separation, self-sustainability, and self-defense. You know, the Triple K was working with them. They were working together for this whole thing because they're in agreement. They're in alignment.
Yeah. On the separation part.
I mean, so if you had, say if you had a community, 30% of them were your family and 70% of them weren't. Or let's say 20% of them were your family and 80% weren't. In order for you, and crazy stuff was happening. Money was coming up missing, people were stealing, and all types of stuff. White collar crimes, violent crimes. The only way for you to get that straightened out so you can, root it out, and you'd have to kick out all of your non-family first.
Hey, that's how I feel.
You would.
You already know.
All y'all gotta go. You know what I'm saying? And they could be like, well, no, it's your cousin, it's your cousin. All y'all gotta go. Well, we figure this out. Now they're gone. Stuff is still happening, maybe. Now we can educate, teach knowledge of self, ostracize when necessary. You know what I'm saying? For the protection of the whole. Now, once we get ourselves straight, I mean, I don't even see
letting them back.
I really don't.
So I'm waiting patiently until we get enough like minds. It's 13%. And we can tell these foreigners to go back where they came from.
Colonizers.
Yes. They can go back where they came from.
All right. Well, what about the
out here telling us we're going to own nothing and be happy? Yeah. What?
After taking our land.
Get your ass out of here. It's our land. It's our land. Out of here.
What about Black Christian churches? I know you and your TikTok friends don't like the church. And I'm going to tell you like this. Yeah, I'm not at a church right now. I'll be honest. I don't go every week. So apparently I feel a certain type of way. But we're talking about the good.
Okay. So I'll stick to the good.
Yeah.
For some people, it really helps their life. It really helps their life.
Some people wouldn't read at all if it wasn't for the Bible, but go on.
Well, most of them don't read the Bible. They, hear the inserts from church and all of that and roll with that part. They don't really read it for themselves.
Yeah.
But there's a upliftment, a frequency of celebration, separation from reality of sorts, where everything is okay, in the praise and worship time.
Yeah, I think you're going into, which is what I have down here, congregation with
fellowship
with melanated. Yes.
Yeah. Some fellowship with people. There's some good things, good aspects.
I like instilling, which instilling the fear of God, if it would be necessary to have the young ones respect their elders and their mother and their father. Because you've got nothing when the children don't respect the elders.
Well, I I won't say that. I'd say that you have change coming when that happens.
Yes.
It's going to be different. It's going to be different when that happens.
Now, I think they pump hope, although I'm on record as saying I don't do hope anymore. You know what I mean? Hope is like dope. You know what I'm saying? It's addiction.
Yeah.
But they do pump hope out there. But the fear of God, I think that can keep some of the shorties from hopping off the porch before their brains are developed. I mean, even though they'll hop off the porch, your brain ain't developed to 21, 22, some say 25. But it'll keep them from hopping off the porch. It tends to keep them from hopping off the porch at 13. And even if they do hop off the porch, if they'd been congregating, it'd be less likely they're going to shoot the guy on the next block, kill him over nonsense. What do you say about that? Now listen, I'm not bumping for the black church because I know it's not what it's always been.
Right. Some I can softly somewhat agree, but
you gotta agree. A lot of these kids would be off the porch if they wasn't in there clutching that Bible and listening to those deacons.
Yeah, a lot of the ones that are made to go aren't the ones they're not on the porch. They're in the house.
You're saying because they got some sort of parental or family situation?
Yes. A lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
Yeah, I like that. That.
So, the ones that are on the porch, ready to jump off, a lot of them don't have that type of
structure.
Okay, so structure. That's something that's good with the church.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. I mean, I don't mind as a devil's workshop. But I would say congregation is the biggest one for me. You know, you're milling with each other. You're getting to know, hey, that's, Tori's mom, man. That's Tori's mom, man.
Sets a sense of morality. It sets a sense of morality.
And family, like community.
Yeah.
Like, listen, that's sister such and such. We're not taking her purse. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
Right.
I mean, I get you.
All right,
I can agree with that part.
Now let's jump to the Black Panther Party. It's tough to talk about the new Black Panther Party, but we're talking about
because I don't know much about that at all.
Yeah.
The original Black Panther Party, man.
So that's what we're talking about. Those principles.
Oh,
all right.
That was outstanding.
What did you like about that? About the Huey Newtons and the Fred Hamptons rested their souls.
The food programs, the health programs.
Definitely the breakfast and the health. Yes, they were.
I mean, the follow the police, the police programs.
Way ahead of their time. Ahead.
I mean, the following to be able to use the law to your advantage. Man.
You're talking about the Second Amendment and self-defense?
Yes. There were no gun laws, ladies and gentlemen, until the Black Panther Party started open carrying.
There was no restrictions
AKs and all of that.
Until the brothers started arming themselves.
Yes.
Very true.
So I love all of that. Now, there is rumored to have some misogyny, but there's still
I like
some
that.
women.
I mean, you're not some sort of feminist. You're not some sort of. They just weren't feminists. That's all.
Yeah.
What do you got a problem with masculinity or something? What's going on, Phil?
I absolutely do not. But I don't. You don't denigrate women for.
I've never heard it or seen it.
The purposes of doing it.
Yeah, but that's pink stink. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going on? Like you said, rumors.
It might be possibly plants.
Correct. That's all I'm saying.
Doing such.
Yeah, they get in there and they start talking shit. The plants, the agents. Correct. You know. Look how Huey talked to the old girl, and if you don't have the context of it all.
I never really heard from the Oakland or West Coast about that. I didn't. or Chicago for that matter. It was all out of New York and East Coast.
Yeah, that
could definitely be plants. Smells of plants.
Of pink stink. Oh, that smells of pink.
And smell of plants. That's what that smells of.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But just to give it some context before we get into what they stood for, because you hit on a lot of what the principles are. The Panthers was an African-American revolutionary party founded in 1966 in Oakland by Huey P. Newton and Bobby Seale. Bobby Seale was my name on SOCOM Navy SEALs, code name, double entendre. Murking people on there. The party's original purpose was to patrol African-American neighborhoods to protect residents from acts of police brutality. They later developed into a Marxist revolutionary group that called for the arming of all melanated Americans, the exemption of melanated Americans from the draft, and from all sanctions of so-called Pink America, the release of all melanated Americans from jail, love that.
Yeah.
And the payment of compensation, reparations out there, to melanated Americans for centuries of exploitation by white America. So if that might have been an issue, the melanateds with guns and they was talking about cutting a check. Period. I didn't hear about that when I was learning about the Panthers at William H. Ray. Drop dead gorgeous.
Oh, no. They probably said they're savages. They were savages. They were the reason why so much of the violence.
Mm-hmm.
They were violent. They preached violence against the police.
Oh, they definitely pushed us towards Dr. King and didn't cover that much.
Yeah.
You know, you get a wacky liberal lesbian, I don't know if I can say lesbian, teacher, you know, that we had a few of them. And they might tell you a different side, but it wasn't part of the lesson and it wasn't part of the test.
Definitely not. And it was their own little personal opinion put in there that, you know, the influence they were trying to put upon you to make you think like a lesbian or a thespian.
Yeah, they definitely want you to think like a lesbian liberal. You know what I mean? Yeah, they definitely wanted that. Yeah, so that I love that, the reparations and the release from slavery, you know, and then we'll see what happens. They did have the community programs you mentioned. They organized various survival programs that provided food, clothing. I don't hear about all of that. Transportation, education, healthcare out there, and legal aid to melanated American communities in need. They also sponsored schools, newspapers, and cultural events to raise awareness and consciousness amongst Black people. I think I could have joined.
Yes.
I was of age and that was the platform.
Yeah. You got to carry guns and all of that too.
Talk about the oppressor.
Right to their face.
It led to some sacrifice though.
Oh yeah, a whole lot of sacrifice, a whole lot of trumped up charges, a whole lot of people locked up, a whole lot of people had to leave the country and still can't come here. It's still like very high up on the wanted list.
Oh yeah, out there in Cuba. Now I'm gonna go through. They got 2 more tenants, but bro, I want to ask you, because you see, all of this has been expanded. Originally, they was just gonna monitor 12.
Yeah,
and we'll get there. Keep your focus, baby. You know what I'm saying? Don't get too watered down. Follow 12 with pistols. That would have been enough for me. And you know, you get other organizations to do all this other stuff. But so now, political activism, they challenged politicians, protested against racism and injustice, and ran candidates for local and national offices. They forged alliances with other radical and progressive groups, such as the anti-war movement, the women's movement. So they did align with feminists and the third world liberation movements. So they got politically active.
Yeah. And if you're talking about revolution, then, you know, it's got to be some political aspect. period.
Well, yeah, because once you gain control, what's going to happen?
Right. And it had some of the most outstanding young people that we've ever seen in Fred Hampton, Senior. He was able to. That's why they killed him. It was sanctioned for him to be killed by the government.
Oh yeah.
He was combining all types of groups, all groups that were looking for similar things that.
Oh, he was sitting down. He was sitting down with members.
Yes, yes. He would be at rallies. They would have rallies together. They would be. He was bringing all those people from the gangbangers.
Chatted with Jeff. That's what I'm saying. Members. He chatted with Jeff. He chatted with who?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and everybody in between. And then it was a Latino group that was out there that
Latin Kings.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the revolutionary type group. It was
okay.
That wasn't a street affiliation at all, but similar to the Panthers. And he was able to bring all these people together, including some pink people.
That's what I'm saying. Now, self-defense, they advocated the right for melanatids to defend themselves against 12, violence, and state oppression by any means necessary. They armed themselves with sticks and other weapons, engaged in shootouts with 12. That's where Pac got that from. And trained their members in martial arts and military tactics. Love it. Absolutely love it.
If the new version is that, I'm all for it. Bring it.
Absolutely. Love it. You know, I've said that helped me my year and a half of martial arts training. You learn about your chi, your life force.
Yeah.
But more importantly, you learn the whole concept of self-defense. So it tells you, man, if I go out here using this on somebody else, they have every right to defend themselves.
Right.
So it gave you a discipline of not starting stuff with people.
Definitely. Martial arts tends to do that.
Preach that. Yes. When you have a good sensei. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Now, some of their main strategies they suggested for social change. However, the movement faced repression and resistance from the government, especially the Federal Bureau of Investigations, which infiltrated, that's what we were just talking about, harassed and assassinated many of its members and leaders. Therefore, the Black Panther Party's strategy for social change was not without risk or challenges. Second Amendment, monitoring 12, self-defense, breakfast programs, tutoring, we talked about that. The NAACP, Self, it's the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. It's an African-American civil rights organization that was founded in 1909 by a group of activists, which included W.E.B. Du Bois, Ida B. Wells, and Mary White Ovington. I got to research Mary White Ovington. The NAACP, because I've never heard that name. The NAACP's mission is to secure the political, educational, social, and economic equality of rights in order to eliminate race-based discrimination and ensure the health and well-being of all persons. All persons? It doesn't say melanated persons. Well, all lives matter. According to the NAACP website, we'll get there. But NAACP, from what you know, they've had, cases that go to the Supreme Court, Dred Scott, this, and that, third. What do you like? We're not necessarily talking about the new NAACP that has a pink lady at the helm who everybody thought was melanin. But the NAACP as a whole.
That third person you said you need to look into, we need to look into the other two as well.
Ida B. Wells, they got the projects named after her.
Yeah, well, no, that means that she, I don't know, might be on some fuck
I see
shit.
what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And Du Bois.
Well,
I know that's
Robert
not,
Taylor's a beta noob, but go ahead.
Du Bois, I'm saying his name wrong on purpose.
Well, it's not wrong either way you say it.
It's some, he's on some fuck shit.
We're talking about the good of what you like about the end.
Well, I guess they took some cases to Supreme Court, what have you, but it's never been an organization ran by us. So I guess it's some of our other people, non-melanated people, decided to try to help us. Maybe that's
could be. So yeah, you're talking about the advocacy and the litigation.
Yeah.
So they use legal action, lobbying, public education, and grassroots mobilization to challenge laws, policies, and practices that violate or undermine the civil rights. I don't like that. And human rights of melanated Americans. Just drop the civil shit and just say the human rights of melanated Americans and other marginalized groups.
That was the whole problem with the whole movement, civil rights movement instead of human rights.
The Pinks made that up to get us off base.
Yeah, and a lot of those Pinks were involved with this organization. Well, I guess we're on the good part. I got to try to stick to the good part.
The NAACP has been involved in a landmark case such as Brown versus the Board of Education in '54, which ended racial segregation in public schools, and Shelby County versus Holder, which was in 2013, which challenged the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So I like honestly, I wish, well, we'll get there. But I like the legal advocacy. I like the legal advocacy. I like taking cases, fighting, challenging the legality of local laws, et cetera, et cetera. I like that.
Yeah, that's a plus.
In principle.
Because I don't know, Yeah, in principle.
In principle.
Yeah.
We would need an arm that does this.
Yes.
Correct. Not necessarily an arm controlled by Pinky,
right.
But yes. They got off into community programs, and this is what we're going to get into. It seems like everybody's doing everything instead of everybody staying in their lane and then having an umbrella and working together. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that couldn't happen if they had Pinks involved.
Right. At the top and controlling everything. That wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, Nation of Islam ain't going to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, they actually act like they're advocating for something that they're not.
Yeah, they're just trying to stop the melanators from rising up and
and shutting down different people who's going to do something outstanding. So
laying out on the Dan Ryan freeway, stopping business and commerce, right? So they did get into community programs, okay, but they were into like cultural, technological, Afro academics. You've got the NAACP Image Awards that's going on. It celebrates the contributions of people of color. Might be shaking their bum, and hey, I'm just saying. Environmental, climate justice. This is a whole lot. The NAACP has developed a strategic plan for the 21st century. It outlines its vision, mission. The strategic plan is based on 6 game changers that focus on economic sustainability, education, health, public safety, and criminal justice, voting rights and political representation, and expanding youth and young adult engagements. These are some of the main strategies that they employ or suggest for racial justice and social change. However, the organization faces challenges and obstacles from various sources, such as racism, discrimination, blah, blah, blah. All right. So we'll move past them. Congressional Black Caucus. I can't say anything good about them, but I'll just give you a quick overview. Democracy and civic participation is what they're about. Education, health, public safety and criminal justice, economic development, environmental justice. Congressional Black Caucus. It's the biggest group in Congress.
Ideally,
we would need such an institution.
Yes, they're an example. Well, we need, I mean, in my opinion, we need to scrap this system and, you know, come with something else. But they're an example. This is the only thing that I can think of that's good. They are in place as an example of us being able to be involved in this government.
Yeah, they're the largest caucus in Congress somehow.
Yeah, well, you know, every other caucus is focused on the people that they are. Have you ever seen their? Oh, that's not good.
No, but no, that's a good point. No, you're making a good point.
And they're for everybody.
Well, you're bringing me to. Got you. You're bringing me to a good point. I wonder, and I don't know if somebody can help with this. Are they all Democrats and independents? Because if you're a Congressional Black Caucus, it seems like even Black conservatives should be part of the group. No? If you're calling yourself Congressional Black Caucus. If I'm saying in principle,
I have to look because I don't know for any fact or whatever, but I don't think
so either.
Right, the Republican
I don't think so
conservative
either.
people are part of that whatsoever.
So I brought that up because you said, you know, those other people work together. You know what I'm saying?
No, the other people work for their specific group. This group works for everybody. It's every other group, the Asian.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Their folks, their whole principles is working.
Well, that's what I'm saying, and I bet you the Asian caucus has members from both sides of the aisle.
I would bet.
I
would bet so.
But I have my spidey senses are tingling that the Congressional Black Caucus doesn't allow any conservative blacks.
I doubt any conservative blacks want to be a part of the Black Caucus. That's what I doubt, that they want to be a part of that. Because its principles are not based on improving and helping
the plight of Black folks.
Yes.
Melanated folks.
It's everybody. They want to help everybody and you know, not having any focus on what you're called, I mean, is ridiculous. If you're not gonna support the people that voted you in, the people that look like you, and you're on everybody's the Black Caucus on everybody's agenda. You know, they're helping. They want to help the brown. They want to help the Asians.
ABC community.
They definitely all about advancing that. So it's
and they're talking about climate change. I mean, come on, man.
Nothing even comes.
What does climate change have to do with helping the plight of Black people?
Well, if all the water rises, takes up all of the boats, some bullshit they like to say. If you help everybody, it helps Black people too. So-called Black people.
Yeah, that's the way they go about it.
Dumb bullshit. It's part of their fucking operation manual.
It's how they get their funding. Well,
it's BS. I mean, so many of them have been where they are for so long, and nothing has changed for us, in reality. So they're complicit.
Damn right. And that's what we're going to get into. Now we're going to give a consultation in the second half. We're going to start breaking this down. Today's topic is melanated freedom fighting. This is a free audit and consultation provided to our people, to our culture, to our freedom fighters for the free. Phone lines are open, 424-900-6945. Please smash the like button, share it, tweet the link. As we jump off into the second half of the show. There we go. So I'll just turn this over to this brother so he can do his thing.
Yeah, the Self Love halftime show is on deck. I gotta get that done. But y'all know what it is. It's halftime. This is some time to reflect, to listen to some wonderful videos.
You getting music?
Somewhat.
Okay.
Yeah, well, it's better. Where you get some important videos to check out, where we get to clear our mind and come back strong for the second half. Love y'all. Thank y'all. And we'll be right back at you. Social programming, man, off the chain. And we witnessed it. We got to see it firsthand. I often say that hip hop went from having fun to scholars to selling drugs to thugs to doing drugs.
And to literally drive-by mass killing women and children in the neighborhood. Like, that's okay. Killing the elders, shooting up the block, that's all good stuff. To drug raping, all of that stuff became the cool thing to do. And then there was the mass materialism. And that kind of started during our era.
Yeah.
You talk about all these brands. I didn't know nothing. We didn't know nothing about half these brands that you could copy at Macy's and Nordstrom and all of that stuff. And some rapper hadn't told us about it. You know what I mean? So then the next step, if you ain't got a job or you don't have the means to get it, then what you gonna do to get those goods that we couldn't afford? You gonna sell drugs. You gonna do what you gotta do to get that stuff.
Stephen A. Smith, we don't know what's in it. We don't know.
How is this proliferation and accumulation of flat-out, full-blooded murder not causing the same kind of uproar? It's inconsistent. And when it's inconsistent, white folks look at us with a raised eyebrow, and it gives them cause to challenge the authenticity of our argument, because we're not making an argument about Black Lives Mattering.
When we did protest against police brutality, he came out there with what are you going to do next, Colin? What's your plan? Stephen A. Smith, what's your plan?
There's no plan.
It seems like this guy is always on the side of the so-called owners. The whole statement he would mention, I'm not going to discount the institution of racism, but
you can't discount the lack of resources, the lack of education, the redlining of neighborhoods.
In arrears, like, for real. I mean, the particulars are another thing, but I'm absolutely for reparation.
No doubt, no doubt. Are there any myths or stereotypes of like Black men or women, from Chicago area that you would like to clear up for the Self Love Nation?
Yeah. She probably eating chicken and watermelon right now. So.
Before I got on one. I can't speak for the city. I mean, the suburbs, people think the people from the suburbs soft anyway, but I think they think people may be rude or harsh or, something like that, but that's not the case. I mean, I don't know any particular stereotypes from my area per se. I guess coming down here, you get some of it. Like they think because you're from a larger area that you feel like maybe you better than, you know, people from down here, or that you feel like it's country down here. I mean, when we came, I mean, we didn't like townies, and now I'm a certified townie, and I birthed 2 townies. It's hilarious.
Hold on. For context, what she means by townies, for anybody who doesn't know, those are people who were born and raised on the college campus, and we come down there and come to their town and label them as townies.
We did, because on campus, like we stayed on campus. I know I did. We didn't leave campus except to go to Meijer, because that used to be the only grocery store. But when you go to the parties, it was for U of I students. You had to have your ID, but the townies was always trying to come in the party. They always started the fights, and then they always want to shoot outside. So I got jumped by 4 townies my sophomore year.
Well, listen. All my friends who were against one gang, their kids are in that gang. Or if they were against certain fraternities, their kids are in that fraternity. So now guess what? Your boys are townies.
They really are.
By definition.
I'd be mad. I'm like, dang it. But I done did.
That's great.
Big ups to the townies, though, straight up.
Yeah, because, you know, we
big ups.
Needed that. They needed foundation from us, and we needed the foundation from them.
True.
Fact.
You know, they held down the city. We were just visiting, really.
A lot of my townies were plugs.
Yeah.
I bet.
TATN.
That'll make some appearances already.
Okay. Suki, what would you do to see foundational Black Americans do to prosper?
Well, what do they need to do?
Yeah, what would you like them to see them do?
See them do. We need to get more knowledge about a lot of stuff like stocks, education around finance.
What's going on? This is Cut. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
I got mine. Man, I should have probed her about the townies stumping on her. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, because that was a trip.
Yeah, 4 of them.
Right on by. I forgot about that part.
It wasn't random. I was a sophomore on the yard. I didn't get jumped on by 4 of them. I mean, I had my skirmishes.
Yeah.
But I know what that was about. After the pro, they was just hating, you know. But go ahead, Phil.
Welcome back. The Self Luv Show, Freedom Fighters, Audit, and Consultation. Those were some very great and entertaining videos, don't you think? I agree. Hey, now we're going to go and expand the conversation and give some consultation, free consultation.
Free consultation. We won't need your credit card till you sit down with us.
For the people.
Right.
And we can let you know what we think about these groups that we've covered.
And to be clear, power to the people.
All power.
Yeah.
To the people.
Thanks. All right, bro, let's jump on it, man. So as you said, the part 2 is the consultation for the Nation of Islam, Black churches, Black Panthers, just as a whole, our society, NAACP. If you were to sit with the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and he was asking you respectfully, you know, for what they could have done better or could do, maybe would have made you join and bring your family, et cetera, et cetera. And I'll kick it off. The one thing I would tell them is free final call memberships for the melanated. Yeah. Stop selling the papers. give some sort of, create it digitally. It's 2023. On the internet, there's information that you guys are putting out. It's crucial to the community. I know it does take money, brothers, to, operate a paper, and that's why I say do it digitally. You'll have less costs, and give membership. Maybe if somebody buys a bean pie, they get a free membership. But I think information should be free. Go ahead, so.
I would say, why the Scientology? Well, I guess it ain't really Scientology. It's one of L. Ron Hubbard's programs that he brought in, Dianetics. Why that? I'd ask that.
What do you mean why that? They're not Scientologists.
No, they're not Scientologists, but they brought in Dianetics. You remember the commercial and stuff that L. Ron Hubbard had? It was all over before cable. It was before cable. But he's brought in that into the Nation of Islam. And I would ask him why.
I know I remember seeing Rizza Islam talk about he read the book, and I remember seeing something about that on the internet as well. So you're saying they brought in some of their tenets?
Whole program. Scientology has not really used Dianetics in quite some time. They phased it out, and I just want to know why he picked it up. I would really ask
where are you getting this from? That they picked up Dianetics and using it as part of their teachings?
My guy Frederick Douglass Dixon was like, he could talk to Farrakhan all the time, and I'm sure you can Google it. This some years ago. They brought in, you start using Dianetics as part of.
All right. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. I'll look into that.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something recent.
Yeah.
But I think it's still incorporated. And I
actually read Dianetics, whatever. I read that in college. I think it was a free book, and I just picked it up and read it. Don't remember much about it. Message. My next thing would be pounding the pavement is something Yahushua talked about. Yahusha. Some may say Jesus. You see the Jehovah's Witnesses out there. We may not appreciate them knocking on your door on a Saturday morning when you had to work all weekend and you partied that night. Gave all your energy to Satan the night before. Last thing you want to do is wake up and talk about Jehovah. But I don't mean necessarily just knocking on doors, but I'm saying street campaigns, bro. The only time I feel like I see them is when they're pushing bean pies and final calls, so to speak. So take your message to the street, up to and including, door to door, safe passage on public transportation, kind of like the guardian angels. I just like to see them more present on the street, since they have all of these trained warriors, if you will, in the fruit of Islam. I think that would help. And these things we're suggesting to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, if you may hear, in the long run, and I know you're not in it for the money. I feel that in my heart. But in the long run, you'll get more support from the community that aren't part of the nation, financial support. But yeah, what do you say about that, Self? More street presence.
I mean, I could see that as a help to the whole community. I could see that.
I mean, come on. Jane Byrne moved to Robert Taylor's to stop the violence. Maybe she did it for votes, whatever. But I'm saying, we talked about it when all that was going on O Block, 64th and 63rd. I'm not just saying the Nation of Islam. It's not you guys' job.
Right.
But the churches and the nation and all of them could have got together and flooded the blocks, bro. They could have flooded the blocks, bro.
It's not too many churches that can get with the nation and work together. There are some, but not many.
But I'm saying just to stop the violence, bro. And the hottest area, 12 can move over there and create these red zones, and the police are everywhere, and these red zone districts. I was telling you or my brother when I was in one of those hot zones. I got dropped off an Uber customer, decided I wanted to roll up some unmentionables and sit there, man. About 4 or 5 shorties ran up on me with sticks, like, man, what's going on, OG? I'm like, they saw the dreads and everything. And I'm like, man, I'm just over here rolling up, man. They like, man, just keep it pushing. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Thanks for the pass, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, y'all be safe out here. But I'm saying, so 12 knows these zones. Why don't we use the same map? And I'm speaking specifically to the Fruit of Islam and their generals, and I know you're going to push back on the churches, but all those deacons sitting there, I don't care what color their suit is, galvanize the men by your presence, getting out there and flooding those hot zones until some of the crime goes down. What do you say about this?
Well, I'd say it's got to be the men and not no label about it besides that. You know what
Fine,
I mean?
But somebody's got to lead from the front. Somebody's got to be out there.
Yeah, that's true. And it needs to be the men. We need to organize and come as men. And I think the religious aspect is going to throw some people off, and they won't be able to get past that. And we all need to get past that. We all have to get past that.
Yeah, I mean, because that's really that's nonsense. I mean, Father Flager is doing a lot over in over there, in the Inglewood area. He's got a religious thing, but he gets. What I'm saying is this. I'm consulting, the nation right now, and I feel like if they got out there, I know you could say, well, why don't you get out there? Because I'm by myself. But if they got out there, and man, we in this zone to stop this violence, and we need all the support, to your point, from the men of all denominations or non-denominations to come out here. We got the Fruit of Islam out here. We need y'all to stand in solidarity with us. This is something that's tangible, which is what I expected after being a million-man marcher, that we were going to start seeing these types of activities. These are things that Malcolm X complained about. Why do we do all this training and we have all this Fruit of Islam train and we don't use them?
Yeah, I don't know. I see them using them, but not for everybody.
So how do you see them using like security around the mosque, security around Farrakhan's house?
Yeah, security that they're paid security for different stuff as well.
Yeah, events, rappers.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
So
you're right.
I see them using it, but not for everybody.
Not for the community's benefit. Not for the nation's. So they're a nation, and then we have a
right for they're using it for the nation of Islam, not
correct. Correct.
For everyone as a whole.
Correct. And I think that's what you were kind of going into, and you were saying that's the whole thing, putting that label on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll get more support from community. And I know this was what Malcolm was pushing. You remember in the movie, I know it's just a movie, it's Hollywood. But even the community was saying, hey, man, we don't see y'all. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, the only thing y'all do, to your point, the only time y'all come out is when something happens to one of y'all.
And that's all of the groups that we're talking about for the most part. Well, except for the Black Panthers. They were, man, I would like to rehash that and be able to bring that back pure like it was.
Oh, yeah. So we're going to take... I hear you. I'm put a pin in there. I'm still consulting the nation.
Yeah.
Another thing, I've said it. Sell that house around all those small hats that you have. You don't even have to sell it. You can rent it out to another small hat. But live in the community. Live in the community.
I hear you. I think that might be a tactic, a survival tactic, because they tend to destroy and burn down our communities, especially when they want to harm one person. But I still hear what you're saying.
Hey man, we all got to take this risk every day. We all living in community. You know what I'm saying? You're ministering to the community. Same thing with these preachers. I've said it about 12. I'm not going to, make it any different for anyone. You know what I'm saying? I've said it about some of our brothers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all in this together, and it just seems disingenuous. I'm not saying it is disingenuous, but so don't sell the property. I'm all down for, doing your business, but rent it out to a small hat or something, but we've said it, and I don't want to stay on this, but imagine if that home was built somewhere around your crib, man, and how the light starts spreading from there. We're going to take this little section of the community, and all the brothers are going to start moving to this area.
The thing is, it is an area that has houses like that. Highlands.
Most of the nation lives there?
No, I'm saying where it could have.
Oh yeah, the Highlands. Yes.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's
or they could have that's even closer to the mosque. So I like that better than Pill Hill, which I was going to say they could even revitalize Pill Hill. But yes.
I mean, it's already homes equivalent in the Highlands. You ain't got to build nothing and all of that. There are already homes equivalent in the Highlands.
Yes. And all you had to do was secure 71st, and was that 67?
67, yeah. And on the east side, you can't even get in there. Only way you can get in there is from 67.
Correct.
So it's there's a security measure in place already.
That's always perplexed me. Like y'all call them demons and this and that, and you live amongst them.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to, even though, this area was almost all melanated. There's still some over here. There still was always.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. What do you think about like the guardian angels? We're going to get to the other groups shortly. I'd like to see them, on the trains. I know it's not y'all job, but what I'm saying is if the community starts to see these acts, people with the bow ties, not asking me, to buy a bean pie, which I buy when I see the guys. I like bean pie. I buy final calls. You know what I'm saying?
It's my thing is how, because guardian angels are a bunch of volunteer people.
Correct.
If you're teaching entrepreneurship and business and all that, it explains why they're selling the final calls and they're selling the bean pies.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe they need to get with the city, since we have this black mayor who seems to be looking for alternative ways, and say, hey, look, man, let us ride these trains and sell our papers and bean pies. And as a result, you're going to have more security on these trains.
That sounds like a hell of an idea.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
That sounds like.
But the reason I said stop selling the final calls, because I understand what you're saying about, entrepreneurship and self-sufficiency is what you're saying. That's the way they found to be self-sufficient. What I said is allow free for the melanated. Now, who else is going to buy it? I mean, that's it's left to be said. But you start making money in other ways through the advertisements. There's many a website where the membership is free, but you start getting advertising from the black community. They start seeing you doing stuff that's helping more than just the nation. You were saying, you know, the religion separate. I have to join the nation in order to receive these benefits. And there's a lot of us who aren't willing to do that.
Facts. That was my whole contention.
Right. You know, which is not saying people who join are wrong or we're right or whatever, you know, and then now Farrakhan's, you know, on this pedestal, which he's on a pedestal in my mind. It's the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. You know, we used to go to his Savior's Day every year, you know, at UIC. But I feel like if we saw them more in action, Self, they would get more bread from the non-members. You know, the safe passage. When you said the black men are out there, you know, make sure the kids get home from school. Let's just let them set up their wares. You got the nation out here, the fruit, and these kids can get home while they're selling their wares. And then me and the community, I can support, you know, that way. I'm sell the bean pie Self. I'm just saying the information. God forbid, it's like what makes us different now? What makes them different from any other capitalist? If God forbid, you got a brother seeking the knowledge, wants to be, you know, woke or awakened, and they don't have $1 or $2.
My experience has been, when I say I don't have anything, they say you got anything, I can give them a dime and they give it to me. My
Correct.
experience.
So let's just go ahead and remove the fee. I mean, just ask the brothers, just ask people for donations, man, and sell the bean pies. I feel like knowledge should be free, and you can put it on the internet where it's not costing you that much money.
Well,
I hear you.
You gotta do the digital,
creating the jobs,
handing out papers to people that's not even gonna read it, because a lot of times that's what happens. Is a waste of money.
What's this generation we in?
Digital,
past the millennials, they're not going to read a newspaper.
Yeah,
the millennials won't even read a paper.
Hell, I don't even hardly read a paper.
You know, but back to the nation.
I will read the phone call from time to time.
I will. You have to thumb through it. Yeah. How about, and then Self, to your point, I mean, that's a great point. You could have free membership, but if you like to help the nation, you know, you could pay, you know, at this level for a monthly, but hey, if you ain't got it, you can sign up for the free. We just getting this message out. How about more visibility at high profile protests, wherever you see that lawyer you mentioned? I can never think of his name.
Ben Crump.
Yeah, whenever you see Mr. Crump, you know, let's have some Fruit of Islam around. No?
I think I've seen him in real life, you know, and he did have Fruit of Islam.
Some fruit.
Yeah, but they're not going to show that on TV.
Yeah, I do see them at some, you're right.
Yeah, they're not going to show them. They don't want good-looking, upstanding people.
No.
Because most of the people in the nation, they look very clean
cut,
upright, and upstanding. They don't look like they doing
that. Don't fit the narrative.
Right.
Pookie and Ray Ray.
Met. Right. Not doing Met out there. They're not out there with a bunch of missing teeth.
Popping pills, drinking lean.
They're not out there like that. So, they're not going to show them.
Man, they be out there pressed, boy. Tailored suits. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You know,
in 105-degree weather, not
105
even sweat.
Degree, don't even sweat. Beautiful black men. You know what I'm saying? You know, the dirty melanin. Right. What about following 12 around? I don't know if they do that or not, but securing the neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's.
I guess it's hard for me to say. I'm not on the inside, but what are they doing? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
They're promoting and doing the Nation of Islam business. That's what they're doing.
Which is what?
Self-discipline and getting information and growing and becoming entrepreneurs and taking care of
And
themselves
building the
and all
Nation
of
of
that.
Islam.
Yes, and not building the nation of infidels or.
Well, and I know what you're saying, and so that's what I'm saying. I'm challenging that they would build the nation faster if they did some of these things that were suggested, along with what they're already doing. Their nation would grow. More people would probably join the nation.
I think they're more content with what they're doing than stepping outside of that.
Yeah, but I mean, this is an audit and a consultation.
The consultation.
Our job isn't to come up here and tell them what they're content with.
Well, that's my audit. You're giving your consultation, and I'm auditing.
All right. Yeah.
I guess at the same time, I wasn't trying to do that, but that's actually what's happening.
Yeah, they are. They're content. You're right. I agree. But this is a line. I know I'm throwing a line on y'all plate, and I mean this humbly, because I don't want to suggest that they're not doing anything. They are in the jails. They are, in the juvenile homes. They are working with kids. They're doing a whole hell of a lot more than I'm doing. I'm just want to get that out here right now.
Just by their principles, they're cleaning a lot of people up.
Man, rehabilitating people. So big ups, big ups to the Nation of Islam, but same thing about following police around. I want them to monitor Pookie and Ray Ray.
Some ways I think they do. Like, well, at their locale, in the nearby vicinity of their location.
Around the various
mosques and businesses that's
yeah.
ran by the members or whatever.
Good point. You never heard of one of their businesses getting stuck up by a Pookie, have you? So
no.
Not saying it doesn't happen, but I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it. I'm not sure that it really occurs. I'm not.
There's a place right here where I'm at, man, in Inglewood, and they sell their bean pies. No security. I'm like, man, this place. You know what I mean? I guarantee when they try to say Pookie don't care about the community and the culture, I think something's wrong.
Yeah, something ain't going right. Because it's a sister from the Nation. She owned the foodie shop right over here on 73rd, right off 74th and Stony, right across from the mosque.
Man, and you know how wild that is.
She owned another spot right on 67th, in between St. Lawrence and Eberhard.
And ain't no armed security guard in either one of them.
Man, nope. She's selling food, good food. And, I mean, people not really going to mess with them. I mean.
Why? Why is that?
Because
is there a history of something going on behind the scenes when you come up visit?
It's some army of disciplined people that know how to
fuck you up.
Yeah, but they know how to talk to you first.
Correct. And they know how to research you and skip trace yourself. And they
will talk to you.
They will talk to you. Yes.
And then if you're not there, then
yeah, they will talk to you.
You don't want it with them because most of them are martial arts artists, master martial artists.
And then they say they don't have guns, but I heard there's some people within the nation who. Yeah,
of course.
And I'm talking about shoot better than 12.
Well, that's not very hard. I mean, like I said, I've told you, you need more training to be a barber or a beautician or esthetician than to be a policeman. It boggles the mind. How
about Self? Let's start the separation. But again, like you said, they don't want us. I get it now because I have heard them talk. When they build their nation and do their separation, like you said, they don't want the infidel. They don't want. You're welcome when we can talk to you and teach you and convert you. Not really convert you, but cleanse you, right? And then you're welcome to come. But other than that, they don't want you in their nation.
No.
Kind of like a noob who hasn't gone through the process. Simple.
Yeah.
Or the Ritz.
I mean,
the Ritz.
it says the Nation of Islam. Not the nation of
the black culture.
Melanated. Not the nation of melanated. So it's a clear line in the sand drawn.
All right, that's fair enough. But I know before the Million Man March, and even during the march, they was talking about this and that, and the land and the trucking and this and that. I saw a couple trucks out there in Mos Mariam after that. But just, it just seems like, how they say, build it and they will come. I mean, you got, what's his name? Lil Boosie building a community. You know what I'm saying? He's building it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Build it. And if you have families like, man, that's nice over here. It's nice over here. It's gated and it's safe. Yeah, but you can't come over there because you're not a part of what?
The
Nation of Islam. Well, how do I become part of the Nation of Islam? Exactly. But that I don't really care about that as much, but that was just something that I would, tell them in a consultation. You've been preaching for how many years now? Separation, and let's go ahead and what? Start separate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, come on. You know what I'm saying? All right, I know you want to dig into the black church.
Well, they've separated in plain sight, though. They don't
allow the pinks into their mosque. No. No. Maybe for service, but not for membership. I don't even think for service. Yeah. No, they don't allow me. Yeah, I'm sure you got some in there passing, but no, they don't allow the pinks in there. So they don't allow that. No. They're devils. According,
Yeah, he's very much eased off of that. Farrakhan has.
Well, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan?
Yep.
We probably should stop saying his name if we don't want this video to be more suppressed than it's already going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to suppress the crap out of this.
Yeah, he's backed off of that.
All right, well, let's move on to the black churches. Black church out there. I know you want to dig into them. I'd say the same thing kind of applies, and this is what Yahusha was talking about. Street visibility. You gotta get out there. So I see the Mormons, pink guys, you know what I'm saying, riding their bikes through the red zones, talking to a motherfucker who just shot 5 people. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see our brothers and sisters out there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, why don't we condense because 3 churches on every block, or certain blocks, it's not working.
Well, that's a good point. 3 totally different churches with 3 totally different mindsets and structures, but the same Bible.
Yeah, and not working together at all. So
at all, they just trying to take customers from each other. I mean,
basically.
I'd like to see them, something you talk about, sponsor more sports. And again, we're saying to these churches in the nation, this will help you get membership. It's an investment. Instead of buying that brand new Tesla out there and, all those nice suits, sponsor a sports league so we can get these kids off the street. Sponsored by such and such church, right? So sponsored by, and people keep seeing that, and they're like, man, let me join it, or at least let me break bread. I think they think we won't break bread.
Yeah,
I might not want to listen to the nonsense in your church, but I'll break bread. Go ahead, bro. For a good call.
I feel you. I got some issues, with the indoctrination, into the nonsense. Instead of what is real. You know, stop taking a couple of sentences out of one chapter of one book of 66 books and talking 45 minutes to an hour and a half on it, giving it some meaning that's not there.
Every church,
stop
one
the
thing,
indoctrination out there.
well, go ahead, hold your thought. But one thing they all, one scripture they all use is the one about tithing. That's in every church. That's one thing they can agree on.
Man, bro. What is that scripture? 'Cause I mean, they got to show me, because
10% of your,
yeah.
And is that supposed to be pre-tax?
Man, 10% of your crops is not 10% of your salary. I don't know. It's some BS to the maximum, because when they gave that to the church, it wasn't for the church to keep. The church distributed to the people in need. It was not for the church. It was not for the pastor. It was not to the church fund. It was not to buy a private jet. It was not.
It's funny
purposes.
To get a gold chain. It's funny you asked which book. It's in Leviticus, one that they don't. I would probably name my son Leviticus if I had a son. It's one that they don't like to talk about because it tells them you can't have a fat back and pork and all this in there. And the bottom feet.
104 laws in Leviticus, and they picked 10 out to say you should follow.
So the word tithe literally means in Hebrew, tenth. Because the custom of tithing is biblical, many Christians and Jews practice it as part of their faith. So it's Leviticus 27:30 self, and it says, a tenth of the produce of the land, whether grain or fruit, is the Lord's and is holy. And I think you're 100% right. That's supposed to be reciprocated or matriculated to feed the poor.
Yes. And it's not salary. It's food and stuff from you produce.
Well, no, Yahusha had a job or a business. So yes.
So
you're right. If he could work, right.
He was a carpenter. This is all nonsense that they teach. That's the problem I have with it. They don't say what's real, and they teach nonsense, and they want to keep you mesmerized in some BS. And instead of reading the Bible to the people, be much more effective than taking 2 verses and speaking 50 minutes about it that don't really relate to the words. You take every word and break it down and all that, and it don't amount to nothing but some singing and dancing in the end. And yeah.
I mean, it's a good point. I would also say this: stop passing the collection plate around.
Multiple times.
That's what made me say it, but stop passing it around at all. It's 2023. Have your Cash App behind the pulpit or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, Self, where people can donate out of the goodness of their heart and what they can do. But yeah, multiple times, right after the choir, right after the hot songs, and everybody's feeling good, here comes a collection plate. Right before right after the pastor speaks, here comes a collection plate. Yeah. I'm sitting here in the spirit now. I'm going in my wallet, digging for money.
I was watching a TikTok, and the pastor's brother-in-law, his sister's husband, they brought him into the back. And to talk to him about his tithing, he said, "Man, I get $20 every week, but I see people give $1, $2, $3. What?" And they like, "Well, your sister has told us exactly how much you make, and
wow,
you're not tithing. Is that tithing?" He said, "Man, I don't believe in that 10, 20% or 10%, whatever." Yeah, man, I was laughing my tail off. He was like, "What?" He was like, "Man, I guess I need to go to a different church." They had somebody in there that was paying $20 a week, over $1,000 a year, and complaining that he wasn't tithing.
Yeah, they'll talk about that a lot. 10% of your income out there, and the Lord's gonna bless you. Hold it, and the Lord's gonna bless you. Well, if you have been using these tithes the way the Lord intends, then the Lord would have already blessed this church. Like what I'm saying is you wouldn't even be come to me saying give me 10% of your income because I would already be giving it to you if I had reason to believe that money was being used
to bless the church and bless the parishioners,
to feed the poor.
Yes,
correct.
Especially of our church, because there are people that break their neck to give
for years.
That percentage,
spending their own gas money, driving people around.
Have one unfortunate incident and be out of their home.
And the church can't do that for them, but read them.
Church won't do nothing for them.
They'll read them some scriptures.
Yeah, like I said, won't do nothing for them. Nothing.
So I think we're saying, y'all got to be 100. I'd like to see, I know you guys have Sunday school where you're ramming the New Testament, the King James Version, but I'd like to see some Saturday schools out there. Help keep the kids off the street, and stop being shills for the Democratic Party. Stop that.
I'd like to see you clean up your act and tell the people the truth, despite your 501c3 status.
Correct.
I think you might need to lose that because it says and dictates that there's certain things you can't do or tell.
Well, yeah,
people.
drop that. All right. Yeah, you shouldn't be a corporation. Stop being shills for one political party over the other. Stop that.
It's supposed to be a separation of church and state, and y'all are supposed to be the church, but you're not. You're 501c3, so you're part of the state, and that's a issue and problem when they can dictate what you tell your parishioners week to week, when they decide what's your topic of your sermon from week to week.
And when you go to their seminaries and get their interpretation of the law, and then you come back in the community ramming pink seminary thought, the same seminary thought that
White
justified slavery. that justifies slavery. Yes, that's that. Like you said, tell the people the truth, and that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. You definitely don't. You're not going to get the people behind you moving like that. And I'm gonna say this:
there was no J when those so-called people lived, and you calling them. I don't know who those people who you're calling and what you're saying, and those names, but there was no J until the 1600s or 16th century,
correct,
1500s. So what did y'all make up? Yeshua is not a Spanish name.
And he didn't take the disciples to a temple every Sabbath, which would be Saturday. Let's start there. You guys should be doing your sermons on Saturdays. But that being said, so he didn't take the disciples and those following him. He said that your ministry is in the street. And that's what I keep going back to. Whether you're out there talking to wayward boys, wayward girls, homeless people, that's what you're supposed to be ministering. And I think you would be getting more money from the people if they saw that.
Get rid of the indoctrination centers, whether they're religious or educational.
Yes.
Get rid of those.
Yes, it's a wasted cost. Nobody needs it. Yes, get rid of it. We can meet online, and we can listen to you spew your, pink seminary thought, but then we're going to get out here in these streets and use this money that's coming from the community to help and save lives, and then.
Okay, so then we need to build those, because these things
aren't gonna.
They're not converting to that. So that's the audit. I know you got the consultation.
But they did during COVID. Well, they didn't get in the street, but they got online.
No, they just followed the whole white supremacy playbook.
Yeah, closed the church down. Yeah.
Yeah, they followed the whole white supremacy playbook, tooth and nail. And some of them think they're doing the right thing. So I don't want to knock.
They do because they've been programmed by the pinks.
That I know who know they're not doing the right thing. There's plenty of those that know they're not doing the right thing, and they're just with it. They with the shits.
They with the shits. Some of them want it back. But and then there's a lot of agents. And then so what I mean by stop being shills for the Democratic Party, stop being shit. Yahushua, when they used to ask him about that, the politics, man, render that unto Caesar. He didn't even want to talk about
that. He went and kicked over the money changers shit in the temple.
Correct. Hustling in the church.
So they said he charging interest. That was hustling, and charging interest was not
usury
allowed. Yes,
usury, and then charging people to be forgiven for their sins. He was like, "This is nonsense.
It's complete crap."
And we
it's
know
the same thing we're dealing with now.
Catholic Church been doing it. They were allegedly part of the Holocaust. The Catholic Church, the pious.
They banked it. They banked it.
And allegedly helped the Nazis escape to
they banked
Costa Rica and Spain.
They banked Leopold, and everybody talks about Hitler when Leopold with 90
So this is my
million,
message, and this is my message to the nation. The reason they did it allegedly, was so that the SS would leave their people alone, the Catholics. And that's what I'm saying to the nation. What kind of deals could y'all be making just so your people are left alone, but then the rest of us are out in the wilderness?
Well, they say they did that for that purpose, but they were one of the only people that would bank the Nazis.
Also, you're right. I want finance there. Yeah. Community cleanup. I mean, we saw your local street gangs doing it. So-called street gangs. The vice lords used to be out there cleaning up the street, wiping off graffiti. They're not doing anything in the church, but everybody's showing up in nice cars and clothes and then going home.
Most churches are closed 6 days a week.
Waste of money.
Doing nothing. They just I guess a waste of money, but you could say that, but the preacher's getting a paycheck. That's it. That's all. He's trying to do nothing for people outside of his church. Sort of similar to how we talked about the Nation of Islam. They building the Nation of Islam. He's building his situation. It might be somebody that's next door or 2 doors down.
Building their situation.
Yes, on the same freaking block. I can tell you right now, on 75th Street, between Cottage Grove and South Chicago, is four, it might be 5, 4 to 5 churches. And 2 of them are, like literally, it's a wall, it's 2 buildings right next to each other and no space in between them.
So they share a wall.
They don't share a wall because it's 2 separate buildings, but there's walls on each side of the building in between them. It's, you know what I mean? That's how close they are. It's not like you could.
So it's not attached, but it's probably like that.
It's built together.
Yeah, they share a wall.
Yeah. It's not the same building though. So, but they are not apart. Like the bricks to this building is next to the bricks to this building. Then it's walls inside. So yeah, but it's a common. It's not no space in between them. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
It's like, why do we need all these churches?
Well, the churches are the ones who ran the liquor stores out of town, taking their money.
Yeah. flagrant.
Because it used to be just as many liquor stores as churches. I think now the churches outnumber the liquor stores, right? In the community.
Well, definitely on 75th Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a liquor store in between Wabash and Michigan and Indiana. No, Indiana and Prairie. And then there's one one block in, 2 blocks in from King Drive. And then I guess Jules would have to count on Stony Island. And then there's one at 75th and Yates. And then there's one at 75th and Exchange. I guarantee you it's way more. It's at least 15 churches in between that.
All right, what I got for the Panthers is get back to your roots.
Man, I don't know what the new one is doing, but yes.
Food, healthcare, harassing 12. And then I'd add monitor Pookie. Because Panthers used to be on Pookie's ass. They don't talk about that a lot. Selling drugs over here.
Yes, that was all part of it. This part here, this is clean and free. These are children over here. You not doing that over here. The ostracization is what we need to bring that back into play, bro. Like, we need to tell people, like, this our neighborhood. I don't know what you going on, but you need to go somewhere else with that. Otherwise, you're gonna have some problems and repercussions. Right. And
I understand they might have tore your buildings down, but this ain't that.
But they would go to the heads, for, like you said, they sat down with them. Fred Hampton sat down with the leaders and told them that certain areas is like,
all that pimping and putting the girls out on the street and all that ain't happening.
And the drugs.
Yeah.
It's not. And I know y'all beefing or whatever, but we're gonna police that. They did police that.
And that's why I think a lot of members don't really be pro-black anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because they left a bad taste in their mouth. It cost a lot of members a lot of money, a lot of hustlers, money and pain.
The ones that didn't go to jail or prison are compromised, period. They flipped.
You talking about the members?
The members that...
The gang members?
No. Black Panthers.
Oh, okay, right. Yes.
Old school Black Panthers.
Yes.
The ones that they're politicians now, and then you see their name. Start reading about it.
Oh, you're hitting the nail on the head. Yeah, or they can write a book and it sells a billion copies.
What the hell?
Yeah, those guys are compromised.
They flip.
So we post the drill pill on TATN, and I can tell you who's been compromised by who goes out in the algorithm and who doesn't. Yeah. I'll post a video, like the video of Biggie might have did almost 2,000 views. I post a video with Dr. Sabi, 16 views.
Yeah. And
16 views.
That's what I was saying about the I guess we'll get there.
About who?
The
NAACP?
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's where we're getting there right now. So go ahead. Well, actually, that's where we're at.
Okay, so the whole
take it easy on the NAACP.
National advancement is complete.
I used to call them the NCAA.
Yeah, complete BS. All of the leaders throughout the history of the organization have not been melanated. They've been small hats, even to this day.
Sounds like you're talking about Black Lives Matter.
Well, Black Lives Matter is even further compromised. It's not really.
Yeah, we're not even entertaining them.
Yeah,
there's a whole show.
Yeah.
Because I looked at what they stood for. I'm like, oh my God. But go ahead, bro.
They don't stand for black men at all. No way.
How can you stand for black lives if you don't stand for black men?
Well, we're not black, in my opinion. But
melanated.
The whole situation, that's all terrible. But the
NCAA.
NAACP is just as bad, if not further bad, because we've all been indoctrinated that they are for us, and they're not. They're not for us. They're not for the advancement of us. They're for the stallation of us. They want to keep us where we are and keep us as second class.
Keep us docile.
Yes.
And
say, hey, no, we're gonna take this to trial.
Right.
We're gonna see. And we're gonna see it through. And
so you're saying those are the ones who used to come out when stuff was burning down, like, hey, stop it.
Yes.
And the black churches.
There's one group I'm so happy you didn't mention, but they're Rainbow Coalition.
Your boy just stepped down. Jesse Jackson. It's funny you mentioned him. He just stepped down like a day or two ago.
Well, he's dementia. He got the dementia. He didn't know he stepped down. They're gonna bring him.
Say the next day, he was back in the office calling shots. Huh?
They're gonna bring him in there, and then if it's a bunch of people in the audience, he gonna get up there and be himself again.
Have you ever gone? Because it was right there on Drexel, and as I'm thinking about it, I feel like I was there, but I don't think I was ever there to listen to Operation Push. It was like a concert or something I went to.
I worked Operation Push when I was.
So you sat through one of their sessions?
I sat through many.
Listening to Jesse?
Yes. And that's why, I don't care for that guy.
He was talking about a lot of politics, Democrats, vote.
He only talked about people that, filled his hand. Like,
seriously?
If there was some
big
issues,
donors there. Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, if there were some issues, if you didn't remember that the Cater 7 that got kicked out of school or whatever.
Yeah,
he was getting paid for that. At the same time, during the course of that, it wasn't the same exact time, but during the course of the Cater 7, that brother that built the porches with the pink people, and then they decided to tie him to the back of a truck and drag him till his head popped off and all that. Yeah, he never mentioned that. I was there for week after week, like.
Never mentioned it.
Never mentioned it.
Because it wasn't a big.
One of the weeks, it was nobody in there. He didn't even talk.
Nobody.
He had somebody go talk. I mean,
it was 10, 15
people. The same people, 10, 15 people that, it's always there. I mean, those people were there, and I think they were paid.
They were probably or related to them. I mean, you can have 15 families.
Actually, I think they were paid, actually. They were, there were a lot of people that were always there, and they were getting some financial compensation.
Because I never knew.
When it wasn't past them people, he was not the same speaker. If he spoke,
if it was something international packed, and it was a packed house, now he up there with everything to say,
jam and everything, and the guy that got drugged by the truck was national news, and he never said anything. Never.
Because he couldn't. They didn't hire him.
Right.
Yeah. So we didn't bring him up. All right. So because that I was funny. I'm glad you was able to share that, because I'm like, man, come on, Steph. I used to live on 51st and Cordell. I mean. Man, I used to be past Push so much and just never felt, and I should tell them something, never felt the momentum. Let me go in here and help these brothers out.
It was not pure. From all accounts, from my research, Dr. King was going to send Jesse Jackson away from him because he felt like he was a traitor.
Don't get me started. A lot of people think he backdoored Dr. King, but
absolutely.
To the NAACP, what I say is, just be the legal arm, and this is what we need, and we're going to get into our, for our culture. Just be a legal arm, not necessarily them, but if that's what they are, just be the legal arm for civil and criminal tort. And I mean pro bono, baby, pro bono. Be the legal arm. Take some of these high-powered criminal cases.
That would be nice.
Yes, that's it. Also, present a reparations case to the SCOTUS. You know, that's it. You know, that's it. That's all I got for them. You know, it's same thing for Congressional Black Caucus self. Drop all the other shit you're doing. Go get people on both sides of the aisle who are melanated, foundationally melanated Americans, and reparations. Drop all the other stuff you're doing. They don't want to listen to this consultation. But this would help them get themselves into a situation where, you know, people care about what they're standing for. This would help get them to a situation where people would support with their boots on the ground. And when I say people, I mean Black men who are about it. All right. Once we come, the others will come. You know. So before we get into conclusions, I want to talk about the consultation for the culture in general. Self-love was mentioning, being more non-denominational in our approach. And we did something similar to this on another show we did about, the Black Code. There, of course, there are no perfect organizations. And I think what Black Lives Matter tried to do, but they added all the alphabet stuff, and that was what it was all about. But you can take, we could take a little bit from every organization's platform self and create something that I think might motivate the youth, because at the end of the day, that 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds got to be behind, So I'm thinking, go ahead.
I think that they need to change their name and rebrand. Actually be for the melanated people. This colored people thing is,
I like that,
completely outdated. Yeah. What does that mean in today's society?
It means you're not pink.
It means everybody instead of what it should have been about in the first place.
Foundationally melanated people.
Yes. Aboriginal or not Aboriginal, the indigenous.
But as a whole, to the community. We would definitely say, stop wasting your money outside of melanated people's businesses. I would say also, learn a trade, whether it's playing a musical instrument or painting or whatever. I'm not saying don't go to college and do other things, but I would say each and every one of us should know a trade of some capacity.
Agreed. College is not for everyone, and
even if you go to college and you're studying engineering,
they've sold us that. It is.
Yes.
I'd say don't go for something that you cannot directly get a position in.
Correct. If it's not a trade that you're going for, I'm saying yes. That way, if something goes wrong and you can't get a job in the white man's society, you'll have something where you can sustain yourself, which would mean we would need more trade schools, privately owned by the melanated.
We need all our own institutions. All of them. School system, banks, food, industry, entertainment, everything.
Facts. We need to respect one another, which starts with self. You know, so if I hear, I'll be watching podcasts, little this and little that, Pookie this, Ray Ray that. And they'll just call non-members lames, goofies. And then you'll talk to the so-called lames and goofies, and we're calling them dumb N-words and stupid MFs. That's got to stop. And hate to sound like Donald Trump. That's got to stop on both sides, bro.
Well,
I don't like that.
It's a complete example of divide and conquer. So
it's in its purest, bro.
So that is, and it's all indoctrinated. So
it is.
We have to deprogram and reprogram something different.
Listen, I've met members who were lames and goofies, and I've met non-members who are stupid. Yeah, stupid. Well, using this and that about it, but stupid, dumb MFs. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I think it's impossible to say, you know, let's stop the black on black crime. I mean, you know, completely. But I think if we put some of these measures forth where we're identify your opposition. That's why they broke up.
That's huge.
Yes. That's why they broke everything up, Self. When the whole movement started, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Everybody knew who the op was.
Yeah. Yeah. And we started talking about, you know, self-love, loving ourselves, and black is beautiful. And well, melanin is beautiful and things of this nature. So, man, what else would I say? Cut the TV, cut the TV off. You know, we've got to stop watching so much of their programming. We've got to stop.
Yeah, TV, radio, internet, social media, it's all programming.
If you're watching a major platform day to day and they're ramming you nonsense, I can guarantee you it's programmed.
Even if it's not nonsense, it's still all programming.
Yes.
Might be exactly what you want or need. Might be. But then again, it might not be. It's programming.
To our point earlier, if it wasn't programming, if it wasn't fitting a certain narrative in some capacity, if it wasn't serving white supremacy's best interests, it wouldn't have 1 million, 2 million, 3 million followers. It wouldn't be able to exist. It'd be shut down like the original Black Panthers. You know.
Facts.
Farrakhan don't have a YouTube channel. I know he's been banned, but he don't have a YouTube channel where he's got 10 million, you know, followers.
He did.
You know what I'm sure. Right. But he can't, you know, the Farrakhan, like the Breakfast Club, he can't, you know, go on there and week to week and lead a show. I'd love that. No.
Yeah, I doubt it. He went on there, and I doubt it if it's on their YouTube page. I doubt it.
That's a good point. He did go on there. I'm gonna have to see if they pulled that down.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. But I'm saying he couldn't have his own Breakfast Club type of
podcast. No way, shape, or form. He can't even have a channel on there.
Yeah, I think he's been banned off of everything. Instagram, like he's been banned from the internet, bro.
Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. That's crazy.
He could probably be on TikTok though. I don't know if he is, but
once he does that, they're gonna get rid of TikTok.
I mean, a lot of people, he can do it under somebody else because a lot of his stuff still is on these social media platforms, but he can't be on there and monetize from it at all.
Yeah.
Mainly because who owns and runs it?
Small hats.
Leora Cohen runs YouTube.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No wonder we get shadow banned because we went in a few times.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we went in a big few times. Oh, that mark. All right. Yeah, and I would say, yeah, self-respect, back to that, which comes from this programming, you know. Put the guns down. Same way you could put the guns down when you're dealing with 12 and you're running away and you got the gun and you don't want to shoot at 12. Melanated slaughtering melanateds. I mean, come on. I mean, I get it though. I mean, I get it to a certain, there's limited resources, okay. But come on. Come on, man. God always, and this is what goes back to what I say, having spirituality. I mean, right? How many people really die of starvation? You know, and they're like, I got to eat and I got to feed my family and all this and that. How many people in America are really dying of starvation? I'm Black Americans, melanated. You're on mute or something. I don't know what's going on. Oh, yeah. There you go. Check.
How many people die, period? I mean, the physics that we have been taught, you know, although limited, says that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, only transferred. So we don't die. We do leave this matrix. But
this dimension.
Death, yeah. Yes. Death. I don't believe in that, and I know that it's false doctrine.
Correct. Audit. What we if you own the property, even if you don't, but I would more so say if you do own it. So this serial killer, Rex Herman, or whatever they just called him, Long Island. His neighbors came out complaining about him because the way his house looked. This guy's an architect self, and he's in the house that he grew up in. He's got money. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the worst looking house on the block. And, you know, I've heard jokes and made fun of the difference between the Black community and the white
That's
community.
funny, though. An architect and has money.
Yes. Now, here's the thing. What I noticed, the pink communities, bro, the outside their crib, the lawn to be manicured, you go in their house, they got the same dirty brown couch, they gray. They all got a dirty brown, maybe gray couch. The inside of their cribs don't really be that fabulous. But in order to maintain something where you don't feel like you live in a shithole community, they do take care of the outside of their properties. We need to do that. And you know, I went in hard on that Harold's on 127th. I don't know if they remodeled since.
Yeah,
but so if we need to do that to give these, they did. Okay, great. Now I'm going back. I'm happy you said that. But yes, but I'm saying, so we need to, because when you're growing up in those areas, even my wife has said, man, I get depressed when I drive through here. That's something we could control to a certain extent. But we had inside our crib, we had 10 flat screen TVs. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about the people who don't live like.
Pick up the garbage and don't throw it down. How about
yeah.
that? How about that?
How about that?
How about you know?
How about that?
And the garbage cans available to throw shit away in, and how about you just throw the shit away in a garbage receptacle
at the gas station if you're driving? Yeah, keep a garbage in your car.
I rode through Cal Park today.
Cal Park, don't get me started, boy. You know I know about Cal Park. Go ahead.
I know. It was garbage cans.
You talking about around there, right?
127th Street.
Yes.
Every
I'm
block.
making sure you ain't talking about the one in the city because that always confuses people.
No.
The actual park, Calumet Park, on the lake or something. Yeah.
No.
You talking about Cal Park, the township on
Yes.
127, right? I know
Yes.
what
Yeah. And I'm driving through and I'm looking, and there's no garbage anywhere, and there's garbage cans on at least every other block.
Correct. And Cal Park is it's a black community where you got ownership.
City garbage cans. It's not no loose thing that things that are being patrolled and taken care of. How about that? What amazes me, you know where I live in Baldwin Avenue, and it's half a street and half a alley, and there are garbage cans approximately every 10 to 20 feet, and people still choose to throw stuff out of their window onto the ground.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that.
Let's do better.
I don't. I agree. I'll take that. And if you're riding around, you know what I'm saying? Like my grandmother used to keep a garbage bag in the car, which, trickle down to me, and then when you get somewhere, you find, I understand your point. The garbage cans should be more available. Yes. But if they're not available, you're going to stop at a gas station eventually or go home somewhere and you take that trash and you dump it out. We did that in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't know who taught you to let down the window and throw out a bag.
Toss all your shit in somebody else on somebody else's block.
Who taught you that?
Well, in their mind, they're seeing garbage all over the place.
Yeah, do better. Do better. I be wanting to pick up the garbage and follow them and all that, but you can't do that these days and times. But I be wanting to. I be like, I want to grab this and I want to follow them. And then I clears up very quickly, like, oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna do that. You're not strapped, you're not any of that. And
even if
you were strapped, it would be stupid because you're gonna draw some conflict.
Yeah. Body, mind, spirit. Challenge your dome out there, Self. And that goes into cutting off the programming and then seeing what you're going to fill the gaps in with when you at least reduce the programming you're getting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Dare I say read? And when I say educate, I don't mean the Pink's education. Go ahead, bro.
I do have a degree in such or whatever, but I've decided what I wanted to learn and work towards that, as opposed to chase these so-called degrees. I mean,
the check,
master degree. You can't master any subject on this planet in 2 years, so I can't understand.
You can't master nothing by not doing it.
Man, they can't. Yeah, so I don't understand that part. Did we do
the riddle?
Yes,
we did not do the riddle. I'm gonna crank it out there, but we'll crank it out at the end, right before we do it. Remind me, but it's on my mind. Yeah, I would definitely say that. You hate to sound cliche, but be excellent to treat each other better, speak better to one another.
Melanated to melanated, because these other people are not going to do it, so we should.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We throw these terms around and we don't know, the true meaning of these words, and words are spells. I would also say, if we are at war, we could be more like the Marines and not leave anyone left behind.
I hear you on that. We got to be more self-aware and in tune, because a lot of us don't see each other as us. We don't operate like what happened to you happened to me. So it's an adjustment that we need to make happen. And from what I know in my spirit, we're moving in that direction.
I hope so, bro. And it does feel that way. I would say stop glorifying nonsense, whether that nonsense is from Pookie and Ray Ray or whether that nonsense is somebody who worked their way up through the college professional structure and they're still doing their
or the
level
government, or the government, because they full of nonsense too. The government,
correct.
Oh, the government. They full
but those the government, those are usually the shills, generally the shills that went somewhere and got the education, maybe the public education on a higher level, got their master's degree that you were just talking about, and then they became part of it.
At those so-called Ivy League schools.
Yeah.
And the ones that ain't, that really are, like University of Chicago.
Yeah. Northwestern. But yeah, I think we need to stop tolerating. Yes. There was a time where we didn't tolerate that as a community, bro. Well, I wouldn't say we wouldn't tolerate. We didn't glorify it, bro. I think I said it here. We don't glorify, and we don't judge. And I think we got to find that space within ourselves, because this devil has found a way to make our celebrities, all the people, not celebrities, but yeah, celebrities, all the people from the projects, bro. I can list you to Nas, Jigga. We can go up and down the line, man. Not that the people from the projects are any different, but naturally there becomes a glorification of that lifestyle.
Yeah, and it's a different mentality from some
culture.
other people.
It's not our culture, right? That hasn't been our culture, bro. That was something that they created, these housing complexes, and funneled us all in. But that's not culture.
Yeah, and they interesting. They did a study with rats.
Yeah, the spooks.
And then they did put their people in these places, and saw what happened.
And said, we got to get our people out of
there. They got them out of there. They already knew what it was, though. And they were
because they don't care about poor people no matter what color they are. But go ahead.
They was matriculating us in while they was getting them out.
Yep.
They knew exactly what they were doing.
And when they got them out, the funding wasn't even the same. The maintenance and the schooling funding.
Schooling. Have you seen our scores? Schooling. Indoctrination into terrible nation? Schooling? I just hope we could pass the test. Schooling?
I'd like to see more holding doors for our children and women. I know this sounds, simpy.
No, it sounds like being respectful.
Yeah.
Melanated.
Yes.
Man, because
helping the lady who you see carrying her packages. Now she's terrified. She'll pull out a stick and shoot me for walking towards her trying to help her carry the groceries.
She's probably using Instacart. She's not even going.
I like following the cops around. I like that. I like that a lot.
I love that.
But we've got to get a hold of our wayward children. That whole foster care system. Oh my God.
Oh my God. We need to get rid of that. That's trafficking.
Yes.
Because they take your child.
Yes. And flip them from house to house
for no reason. And
they develop
They disappear, bro. In some cases, these children disappear. They don't.
Yes.
They go from house to house, and then next thing you know, no one knows where they are. And when their parents are
back on their feet or whatever,
yes, figure it out. And sometimes they just take children out of healthy homes. There's an incident that happened, you know, somebody visiting or one-time thing, and they take the children out. And I hate to say it, but there's sex trafficking, and then there's organ trafficking, and then there's melanin trafficking, and melanin is more per gram than gold and platinum combined.
Absolutely. And then they treat them through that treatment they get, they develop a hatred for humanity, and then they dump them back off in the community. You know what I'm saying? After they take them to the foster system, they don't end up in some all white suburb milling around. They end up back in the community.
Yeah, very few end up.
So what could we do? Create our own reform schools or what do you call them? Orphanages that is monitored and controlled by us?
I think that's absolute necessity. I mean, because you know about theta in the first 7 years of life.
Yeah.
If we're not able to influence heavily, then it's going to take a lot of
energy to turn it around.
Yeah. From the individual. Shit. If he even if he want to change, it's going to take work because of the foundation that has been instilled.
So if you're taking them young in theta and you have some sort of place where they're not being abused, and then as they become older, they're the ones running the place because they have that love and that knowledge of self in their heart. They can help run the place. And then when they turn 17 in Illinois, that's when you're legal, or 18 in most states, you know, hopefully we would have taught them a trade while they're there, and then they could go out and fish for themselves and be a positive part of the community, as opposed to sending them to all these wacky pink people who have no love in their heart and want to abuse it.
Yes, absolutely.
Even there's some black ones who just want to abuse them. They don't want to abuse them, but they mainly want to use them for money, the check they can get, and they don't feed them nothing. They feed them noodles, and yeah,
absolutely. I mean, the devil comes in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Could be the finest motherfucker you ever seen in your life,
man,
and that wants you to move outside of yourself.
Succubus.
Yes, do something that is not you for
bring
her.
it out of you. You catch a whole case.
Because of a beauty. To, you know, someone who comes with the same color jacket and you don't even realize that what happened, your encounter was with that person instead of the other person you was with who had the same jacket. It's a lot of magic and symmetry. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Because these people have you caught up to some more karma. And you'll be right back here.
Yeah, and then I'll also add, Noob, everybody should have a goal. One of the top 3 goals should be reparations.
Man, at this point,
I know you say the money won't be worth nothing.
They ain't got to give me a dime. That's all they got to do is get out.
Leave you alone.
And get out. They just need to get out. That's the whole thing. Let us reorganize and get our shit together. Because it's going to be proven that all the land that they have was stolen. It was not properly processed or bought. There was no equal exchange. They bought a whole lot of land from France, and France didn't own none of that shit. They just, so, you know, a lot of it is idiocy and stupidness, which the YT people, they participate in on a regular basis.
Yeah, that's well said. And I agree with you. You got any more recommendations for the community as a whole that you can think of?
Against everything that you might think or whatever, we need to see our neighbors as ourselves. And it's the only way we can process and move to the next level and degree. If we get to a amount of people that sent us over the so-called 100 monkey stage, where we can kind of sort of operate on the hive mind. When enough of us appear on the same frequency, we are able to influence everyone in our vicinity and operate in a kind of hive mind. And once we, the foundational melanated people, realize that we have been illegally usurped as the indigenous people of this land, because they know how valuable this land is, we shall bring together in a different way, shape, or form. And connect and eject those people who are illegally here. They labeled the District of Columbia as a different place, even though it's within our borders.
Yeah, it's only DC and the Vatican, I think, that have that status. There's one other place, London.
London.
Yeah.
Yes.
I always forget about London. Go ahead.
Yeah. And it's for a reason. So they can have, our government is labeled in this foreign land. Well, not our government, this corporation. And we have to get back to the live person government and reject corporation United States of America. They gotta go.
Yeah, we need to study our lessons. We're not talking about his story, but we need to start educating ourselves and our children about our story. You know, history's bound to repeat itself if you're ignorant.
It's his story. So whenever he wants to make it happen again, he presents the same predictive programming, which they're all in the loop anyway. It's just a loop they present. Once you can get outside the loop, you can actually see.
Yeah, it's his story or even high story. So yeah, we got to stop falling for the okie dokes, trapping, landing ourselves in jail. I mean, you know, if we had our trades and we're working with each other, none of this would be happening. One of our educators came on and I would say we need to get a better grasp of the mastery of the English language.
Actually, if they left us alone, wouldn't we be having none of this conversation? It'd be on a whole higher level of existence.
True, but they're not going to leave us alone. So
I said if they did, if they had.
Right.
I know they not, because they
Right.
dead and they not now.
Right. So in the meantime, we need to get a better understanding of English. I don't care how you speak it, just understand it. Understand the words to the best of your ability. We mentioned stop the violence, learn a trade, or play an instrument, something you can earn money from. A melanated first organization. You want to be a part of one. Seek out if you can find a good one, even a good church if you can find one. Recycle your money. Find someone that's professional. Stop saying, "Oh, I need a Jewish lawyer" and all this shit. Johnny Cochran got OJ, free. But for anything, you need your tire change. You know what I mean? Let's just, if we can, let's find somebody melanated. Stop being a slave to party politics. Let's stop that. Let's just stop that. We're dropping our gun before we come through the window. When we take it as a badge of courage that over 90% of us vote Democrat. I mean, would you be happy if I said over 90% of black people did MEP? That should be a red flag right there. No other group is a slave to a party the way we are. Not the pinks, not any of them. Start your own business when you can. One thing we didn't mention, Self, nutrition. Eat healthy. You got to do better. Can't eat fat back and fried chicken every day.
Hey, we have to identify what is food and what our anatomies should accept as an equal exchange for food. It's a lie, and the whole medical system is based off of like a 40-year-old YT person. Pink, as we call it. Pink or not, YT. And it's not based off the indigenous to this land, which it should be based off of, because we are the foundation of this type of life. Our vehicles were presented and made first for us to be in. And thanks to Yakub, these other people were created and made to be here. They don't have the same credentials. They can eat more reckless because they're not even supposed to exist as long. All of the statistics and all of that is based on them. And they call us minorities, but they are the minority on the planet.
And actually, the word minority originally meant non-citizen.
Growing in minority because they have negative birth rate.
I'd also like to see Exodus. And this is weird, but Exodus means
to where?
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
back to our from where?
To where? Because this is our original land.
Back to the right. So back to the deserts of our communities. All of our talented and the ones who made it out are strongest. You know, and again, it's everywhere. Even you mentioned Cal Park. Even when I was in Cal Park, it was all about getting out of Cal Park. I'm like, I used to ask them the same thing. To where? You know, Pac said, you know, I can't live around poor people because they'll try to take my stuff. And when I live around white people, I'm in hell. He said that. And so there has to be an exodus, which is what we were talking about with the nation, of us moving back to the deserts of our communities.
I got you. But yeah, okay.
In big enough numbers where the Pookies and the Ray Rays, they're outnumbered. They're way outnumbered.
Yeah, I mean, anywhere we go, I don't really think Pookie and Ray Ray is a problem because they're going to fall in line.
Correct.
Anywhere we go.
Correct.
Yeah.
You know,
the nomenclature just threw me off a bit because I'm like,
yeah, I know. I'm using it kind of wrong.
To where, you know what I mean? Because I'm like, hey, we're already here. And
right.
We need to, you know,
this is our home. Where are we running? Right. Where are we going to? But
we need them to go. And then I'm with you 100%. But I agree with what you said. I you know, after getting it all.
Yeah.
All
imagine if everyone, even the celebrities who decided, man, I got to get up out of here. It's different if you burned the neighborhood up, Self, and I was out there shooting at everybody and everybody wants me dead. Then, yeah, it's probably best that I just go. You know. But I'm talking about those of us who start a business, who are successful in a certain way.
I mean, to a certain degree, it don't matter who it is. If there are 3 or more in agreement, then a lot of shit gonna move out the way.
It would move out the way. It would move out the way. You know, stop giving away our creative energies for big corporates' profit and benefit.
Man, stop giving them anything.
Correct. I mean, you know guys, I know guys who work for these corporations, solve major problems, and got no credit for it because all the intellectual property is owned by the corporation.
And beyond that, get fired, you know, without cause.
Before they got fired, they were getting paid getting paid less than people.
Totally getting underpaid. That's why when they made something happen and they were gonna get paid, and they let them go.
And like you said, before they fire them, they say if you did it and I'm Pink, they'll be giving me credit for all your discoveries, you know, because I was head of the department, you know what I mean? And I get credit for, you know, what my team did, and then you're fired because you're around there talking about how you came up with that. And then it's non-disclosure, so you can't go public and say you came up with that. You don't get any credit for it. Also, here's a big one, Self, I didn't want to leave out. If you can't say something nice about the culture, talking publicly, take you a big cup of what?
This is not quite a cup, and it's not quite big enough. But, oh, there we go. But you need to
take and what?
Sip slow.
Just take a big cup of STFU.
Because goddamn, you know they're in the wrong.
I don't see any other people doing that, Self. I scour the internet.
Well, there's no other group of people on this planet that have been through the experiment that has been going on. Okay.
Bro, I was watching FBG Butter and he was just telling some story. But he kept talking about the medication and we was waiting on our meds. And I'm thinking to myself, man, y'all have no idea what's in those pits. He was talking about when he was locked up. Right. Everybody was in line waiting on their meds. You know what I'm saying? People fighting and all this and that. And to your point, we've been indoctrinated. And the guy interviewing him wasn't even like, man, what meds? What, like, you taking pills in prison given to you by your open enemy?
I mean, they make them. That's a whole different mentality.
You're right. Sometimes it's a court order. Yeah.
It's pledging to $1 million.
And it's experimentation. But you were saying earlier, they're running a lot of experiments.
The whole time.
Motherfuckers showing up to your sales help with pills, asking you if you want them. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, hold on.
Bro, I don't even want to eat in this one.
That's on the street as well. Like, motherfuckers buy pill presses. Like, a lot of these so-called perks or whatever they calling them. I don't know. That was the first thing that came to mind. But somebody's got a pill press in their crib and they just crushing up some aspirin, mixing some shit, some cinnamon and some garlic.
Fentanyl.
And pressing
pill meals. Pill meal.
Yeah, passing it out. 1,000 of them. Go and sell them. So
that's crazy.
You don't know what you're getting unless you know the source. I mean, most of us do not. And not that I have a source of perks or any of that thing, but I just know how they came out. It didn't sound too good out of my mouth. So I'm like, I gotta clear that up.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want that misinterpreted. But at the same time, yes, great point. You know,
people, and I'll be like, do you know what you're taking?
It's the same thing about going to a McDonald's in the hood. You don't know what kind of experiments they run. Because they know for fact, especially a segregated city like Chicago, they know unless if it ain't right off the E-way or something, ain't no pink people going in at McDonald's. I bet you can find a local McDonald's around here. Is there anyone on Stony like 60 something? I bet you ain't. When's the last time you?
The first black-owned McDonald's ever.
It was Eddie Wimp in Hyde Park. I think.
No.
That wasn't the one on 53rd that got closed down?
No.
Oh, okay. Eddie Wimp, he could pass too.
It was 100%. I do remember that one on right by the car wash.
Yeah, but he had that. It
was right by the car wash.
Right? Yeah. Oh, that's where they moved it to. But before that, it was right on right off Kimbark on 53rd and Kimbark. Remember, it was a McDonald's right there. You forgot. We used to walk there from Ray, and then they closed it down and built the new one to the one you talking about, which I had forgot about, which was by my crib over on around 51st. Yeah. I forgot about that.
And the car wash was there. I forgot the car wash and all that. So you said the McDonald's.
Yeah.
But, no, the first one in America that was black owned was the one on Stony, 60s.
Is it still black owned? You
Yeah.
don't know. That's boy, you got to be careful over there. I think that's where they got Ock on when he said he got jacked up.
Yeah,
he was in the drive-thru.
I was doing Uber Eats and whatever, and I was in line, late night, so long that the order got canceled. I couldn't even get out of the line, and that was like the last time I went there for that shit. I'm like, these people. Horrible.
And it's supposed to be McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? Like what?
They're Charles Barkley horrible. Horrible. I don't know even how to say it differently, but this Charles Barkley horrible.
It was probably a weekend too. These, don't y'all know customers are coming in?
Yeah. So if I can't go in there, I was not getting an order from there. And I went in there one time, and this worker, I guess she quit, and she went berserk. She went off. Oh, she went so off on the manager, the owner. It was probably the owner. And it was entertainment.
Hey, speaking of that, I saw a video, this sister, she from Houston, and she's locked up in Dubai right now. She locked up in Dubai. And so she was in a car accident in her rental car. And turned out, the rental car company in Dubai said they wouldn't give her ID. I don't know how they had the ID or whatever, but they wouldn't give her stuff until she paid X amount of damages or whatever. And she went ham. You know how sisters go ham. Bro, she in a whole jail right now. A woman raising her voice in public. And she's like, well, he raised his voice at me first. You in Dubai. Dubai, self, not Saudi Arabia, not the Taliban.
That's what, when I was talking about the richest place on the earth and all that. That's what I was talking about. I couldn't remember that. I couldn't remember. I got lost. Oh man, I got shook up last week. To be honest, like
self, they should have, like, when you're a female, like, hey, you know, like I said, I'm not one of these feminist guys, and everybody got the right, but all this flashing out, I'm glad I thought about that, because composure. Oh, we got to do the riddle too, but composure, bro. That's what we need in our community. Most times, the best reaction is no reaction.
Man, like, oh.
Come on, bro. Hey, my guys used to tell me, man, hey, F that dude, man. He ain't feeding you. He ain't effing you. He ain't financing you.
100% fact.
He ain't putting his hands on nobody, man. Keep it pushing. You know what I'm saying? But we wasn't off them. We wasn't off them pills. But you was about to say something.
No, we wasn't raised solely by a strong ass woman. Not solely.
You mean a woman with no femininity?
Yeah, that didn't do the other part. That's all they did was talk about men ain't this or that, and then those type of women raise weak men.
Oh, you talking about niggas ain't shit?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't. It'd be different if they were saying men ain't this and niggas ain't shit. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and they raise weak ass men.
Yeah, with low vibrations, because that's what they're hearing all the time.
And they look for women to provide everything because their mama provided everything.
Or so it was presented to them.
I mean,
a lot of times they get
government,
money from the baby daddy and the government. Sometimes the father, sometimes the child support too.
Yeah, sometimes. A lot of times, no. It's the government. And that's why niggas ain't shit.
Yeah. That's why I'm about to go vote for Biden. You know what I mean? Not me, but I'm saying that's how they had that mentality. You know, boy, I saw a poll, bro, and
did you see my face? My heart fell when you said that.
Democrats still running them out there. Boy, I saw a poll, like, and this wasn't on no conservative channel, like 87% of the people say they don't think he's fit to be president. Now, if that was Donald Trump, bro, and this is a thought experiment I'll ask my black people. If that was Donald Trump or anybody Republican falling down and falling up the stairs and down the stairs and putting his pants on backwards and telling little girls, oh, that's a nice skirt, or whatever he was saying, to little minors, bro, you know, bro, they'd be all on Donald Trump's ass, bro.
Hey,
and I want our viewers to know we're gonna be on Trump's ass if he wins.
I'll just say that Biden had plenty of unclassified documents in his house.
Plenty.
as vice president.
Right.
And yeah, there's not been any prosecution.
Right.
That's enough said.
And who had the booger sugar in the White House? Because they tried to say something. It was I don't know if they found a bag of.
Well, you know, that could have been anybody.
Well, that's what they were saying, of course, but I don't even think it would have been a news story if the shit was found in an area where it could have been anybody.
Well, even if it was in a very private area, it still could have been anybody, because there are all kinds of the people protecting them, the Secret Service, all kinds of.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was Biden, but I'm saying right. Yeah.
Well,
yes.
I mean, hold on. They got off.
It was somebody with clearance
off his son's laptop. They've got plenty of video of his son. You know.
Well, of course, yeah. His son went to rehab and all this and that. Yeah. You know, I'm not. You know, people. You know, I'm just saying. I just thought it was weird that when the story dropped. And then the Secret Service said we're going to do our investigation, and then they came back and said they can't figure it out.
When it was dropped, I just laughed. It was some.
But then now,
that was inside job, somebody that spits them to the.
Yes, with a cover up.
Well, no, they spit it there, and then they just got the company line when they brought it to them, because somebody from inside told somebody from the outside that it was there. So when they asked about it or whatever, they just came with the company line. Could be anybody, could have been a visitor that came in and.
Yeah, it's so much booger sugar in the White House. I'd be a monkey's uncle if you had me believe that they're not in there for all through House of Congress and everything. I mean, come on. You saw him in college. You know what I mean? But all right, as we wrap up, and then I'll get to the riddle. Obviously, there's going to be some things that we agree upon and disagree upon, as a community and as a culture, depending on your frame of reference, where you might have, came up at. There's a low end theory, there's a high end theory, but it's all the same, culture. Even Self Love and I, we may not agree on all the fixes and issues. Every organization is going to have flaws, but it's up to that organization to be working on its weaknesses. Michael Jeffrey Jordan said that's what, he feels like made him the GOAT. Besides his competitive nature, it was his ability to work on his weaknesses. That's why he was always able to come back the next season better than he was the previous season. The flaws are not. All of these organizations that we mentioned are bringing something to the table. It's incumbent upon we, the people, to make gumbo using all of the ingredients, that we like from all sources. Some of the ingredients, we can put it in one big pot of community gumbo. The real message is knowledge of self and self-love. Honoring your parents and your neighbors. Ask not what our culture can do for you, but ask what you can do for the culture. As always, question everything, every mother effing thing. The Self Love Show ain't Kansas, Dorothy. Peer down these rabbit holes, do your own research, utilize your own discernment. But remember, when you stare into the abyss, be careful, because sometimes the abyss will stare back at you. Peace and love. All right, so if you're not going to have much time to matriculate this dome teaser, but here it is. What goes up and down, but doesn't move? What goes up and down, but does not move? And the first thing that probably came in your mind was an elevator.
It moves.
Right.
Wow.
Think along. I was gonna say, Let's see what he gets here. What goes up and down, but doesn't move? It's funny how you flash that. Yeah, the first thing comes up, and then you know what I mean, and then it comes to you. I actually came up with this myself. I don't come up with them often. Yeah, he's 100% right. Stairs. That's what goes up and down, but doesn't move. It's funny though, bro, how you get the elevator first. You know what I mean? And then maybe you see an escalator, I
didn't even go to escalator.
No?
Once elevator moved, I ain't think about escalator. Would have been a good place to go. But no.
All right. But great job once again, man. You're definitely over 95%. I'd easily give you over 95 percentile solving rate. So we did our riddle. Next week, we're going to go ahead and get into the science of the crop circles.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to break that down, man. I think, it's something that we don't get into because we don't have many farms in our communities, and so it doesn't affect us, so to speak. It's a
to a
rabbit
certain degree. It's always been. So if it's always been, then it really affected us. Because all the farmland in this continent is ours.
Correct.
I'm most definitely seen them and all of that.
I'm starting to lean towards I don't want to say I don't want to say demonic, but interdimensional beings.
It could be, could be somebody from the same plane. If it's one plane, we all got our own little dome over us.
Pyramid.
And then they got stargates and all that you can get travel in between these places, in between these domes and all that. It's a lot to be considered.
Stuff I've seen crop circles, and they try to say these old pink people did it. Ain't no,
With a broom, and there's 3 of them with a broom at the same time going at the same. Motherfucker.
It don't even be the same precision,
Hell
bro.
no, it can't be. Like, gonna do huge ass, precise ass.
You did it. That's just what they was.
Yeah, man, I seen that. I was like, this is ridiculous. I mean, how stupid are you people?
But
a lot of people believe it.
Hey, we believe swamp gas on Area 51.
Yeah, he didn't even believe swamp gas.
I know. He was told to say that.
Yeah. Yeah. So crop circle is gonna be, man, y'all better quit playing with us and tune in, because it's going down next week.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if somewhere before football season, the Self Luv Show is going to transition from Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, we can transition anytime you're ready. I'm pretty much wide open, right now, as you know. So but yeah. I mean, I would say, just let me know. Just let me know. I hear you. Shit, the Bears got a lineup too, boy.
Yeah, it's working right now, but
I mean, it can definitely be Sundays, but it's going to be working around the Bears schedule. That's for sure.
Man, no, because I like stuff.
Yeah, we got a team this year, boy.
I like stuff, so it ain't gonna be on Sunday.
Hey, and tomorrow on Mouthpiece included. Like I said, we're covering the short history of Jackie Robinson West. Saved a lot of lives over there on the South Side,
Absolutely.
Yeah, got a lot of kids, to make children get themselves out of, one situation into college. A couple of them even made it through the minor leagues and are, in the majors. So I think it's been 50 years in their existence. So that's what we're definitely going to unpack tomorrow. They were playing today, as I mentioned earlier. So the co-host couldn't be on the show today. So big ups to Jackie Robinson West. Now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to this brother to my right for my favorite part of the shebang. And that's going to be Wordsmith's final words out there. Free the Black community, baby.
For sure. I can't hear the music, but I'm going to go for what I know. The freedom fighters, Audit and Consultation, free of charge, right here for the Self Luv Nation. Appreciation for the real people that put the work in and wanted to advance us. But in a lot of ways, the people that we talked about just trampled us. Some way more egregious than the others. Claim they are sisters and brothers, but strictly run amok on us. It's up to us to build these situations from the ashes and dust. Be like a phoenix when we mean it, in the Creator we trust. Bust a bubble when they label you a rebel. Question everything. Tell them you a fiend for the truth. And all you gonna listen to from them is the proof. If they question that, tell them you've been that way since your youth. We need freedom, justice, and equality, so we can bring upon our mastery the way we dominate this whole situation. They can't see it coming because they constantly take out our so-called leaders. So we all gotta be ourselves and know what we are, not just be believers. It's easy for us to conceive the degrees that we need to be, but we gotta do the work. Otherwise, it don't work. Words.
Words born. Well done, good brother, as usual. Powerful words from the wordsmith over here. Very powerful words. And as always, we like to encourage everyone, be blessed. You know, you want to walk on water out there. Be role models. Be an example for your people, you know.
What we gotta be. Because the
these
examples they put before us ain't what's really we.
Yeah, that's why I say cut that programming off, because these children are like sponges, man. They soak everything up. If they're not getting it from you, they're getting it from elsewhere.
Period.
Man, use that programming as a reward. You know, when you finish that book, you can watch TV for 2-3 days or something. I mean, something, you know. Shit. We need balance, bro.
In its highest form.
So, facts. All right, so Zodiac, y'all. Support Zodiac's channel. He's a rapper.
Is your mic excluding?
Do you think you are the one?
Okay.
No, I mean, you hearing it?
Yeah, I heard that part.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Yes, yeah. Know thyself. When I'm holding it like this and not talking, do you hear it?
Oh my Jesus.
Nah, dude. I don't hear the beat and stuff. I hear the vocals.
That's crazy. Bullet the boomerang.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, man. Eye for an eye.
Silence is violent.
See something, say something.
Wale, slave theory. Greed plus ego over fear. That's slavery, man.
Yeah, man, I bet, because charity plus humility times love is freedom.
Flesh. Don't.
Like, I don't hear the words. This is true.
That's crazy. That's crazy as hell, man. I don't know how they doing it. Don't self-snitch. Don't snitch on the community. So don't answer questions. All right.
Yeah, for sure. Because you better question everything because they lied by so much.
Yeah, they can lie to you legally. And if you lie to them, then you going to jail. So where they do that at?
Hell.
Fear is cap. It's an illusion, man.
Vibrate love.
Forgiveness is the highest love vibration.
So do something charitable for a so-called enemy and end the beef.
Wise man once told me, healthy people heal thy people.
Because we all know for sure that hurt people will hurt people.
Free the old man. Free Larry Hoover.
Free Jeff Ford.
Free all the guys.
Prison of slavery.
Be like Yahusha. Walk on water.
Man, yes, sir, for sure, man. Just move mountains.
Move a mountain, G?
For sure.
How we supposed to do that?
All we need is the faith of a mustard seed. And nope, we got way more than that.
Word?
Yeah, so all we gotta do is decide, and that's gonna get right out our way.
Word. Free God.
Anyone is psychically in love. No one can tell you you're in love. You just know it through and through.
Dr. Blickies. Free the guys, man.